Welcome in, Los. What's up, friend? Welcome in, y'all. Welcome in. Welcome in. Thank y'all for tapping the screen already, man. I appreciate y'all. It's a little bit early. We here in a little bit. We on a little bit early, but I wanted to get the likes up right away. You know what I'm saying? We start tapping the screen a little bit. It's supposed to be. Hopefully he pulls up. Um, Supposed to be supporting my brother, man. He's trying to figure out his mental health, so hopefully he comes through and is able to share where he is. What's up, baby? You know what I'm saying? As far as his mental health journey, we spoke to him about, I want to say, a week ago in regards to coming into the live and kind of just taking in all the positive energy, taking in all the affirmation, taking in all the information that we usually drop in here, all the knowledge that we drop in here. So I'm hoping that he pulls up. Cross our fingers. If not, I do have a backup plan for the live if he doesn't pull up. So we're not just sitting here waiting. You know what I'm saying? But if y'all also make sure y'all hit the link in my bio and check out the new website for the Mental Health Live. I finally able to get it up and running. We're also gonna also create a Facebook group, which I already have. I have the Instagrams where we're gonna be dropping all our shorts, our reels, little snippets of the lives that we do on here. We also have a monumental TikTok page that I'm also gonna be dropping like little snippets and little things of these lives that we do every Saturday. So there's gonna be a lot of production in the background, but I think it's worth it. You know what I'm saying? I think it's worth it. Mud, how you doing this morning? Los, how you feeling this morning? Thank y'all for tapping the screen, honestly. Hopefully I can get my 5 GGs today and try to accumulate some coins for being in the agency and for the agency stuff. You know what I'm saying? So let's cross our fingers. Get some GGs. And get some subscriptions too. I got a new incentive for the subscriptions as well. At work tired. Yeah, bro. Yesterday was busy, man. It was wild yesterday. A lot busier than I thought for a Friday, but the phones was ringing off the hook up until like the last minute. So it was a little wild. That it was as busy as it was. I'm not gonna lie to you. Made my way in before take my guy to the DM. Ah, okay. Okay. So the goal today is to make a breakthrough, right? That's the goal today, is to make a breakthrough. It's been a while since we've gone back to the basics and we've supported one of our brothers, one of our sisters, as far as their mental health is concerned. You know what I'm saying? And kind of just let them take the wheel a little bit and kind of guide us on where they are mentally and where they are as far as the steps that they taken to focus on their mental health. You know what I'm saying? Breezy, welcome in. So I think today it's a good time to go back to the basics of how we started these lives, because before we started doing these topics and kind of giving you guys information on these different topics, we used to have at least one or two people come up and kind of speak on their mental health, and we kind of support them and guide them. You know what I'm saying, and give them the tools that we could possibly give them based on our experiences to kind of start their process in their journey. I think a lot of us do need it, believe it or not. We have a tendency to ignore the fact that we have things going on mentally, and we just want to ignore the fact that we're not okay. It's okay to not be okay. You know what I'm saying? I tell people that all the time. There's nothing wrong with not being okay, but that's the first step, is to admit that you're not okay. You know what I'm saying? If you're not gonna admit that you're not okay, then you're not gonna get anywhere. You're not gonna get anywhere. And we was kind of trying to break that down to him. The last time we were live and we were talking about it, it was just like, listen, like if you're not good, you're not good, bro. Like, I know we all go through these processes where we gotta try to be stronger than what we claim that we are, and then when it's time to kind of let our hair down, we don't know how to, because we've been acting so strong for so long. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's good for us to be able to let our hair down a little bit and realize, there be days where I'm not okay. And realize that and analyze it. Don't ignore it though, because I think that's the issue that we're dealing with is people are ignoring it and then they just kind of push it to the side. Thank you for sharing the live. I appreciate you. Thank you for tapping the screen. So the goal today for the live is I want to say 50K. We did 100K the last two times that we was in here, which was dope. But I don't want y'all breaking y'all fingers. So 50K, I'll be happy with 50K. Anna Marie, welcome in. So 50K is the goal for the live today. And my brother is in the building. What's up, Tav, bro? Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Thank you for joining, bro. Stick around, man. Stick around. It's still early, bro. So stick around. Chill. Get your coffee. Clean the poop out of your eyes. If you ain't awake yet, I know I still got sleep in my eyes a little bit. What's good, bro? Thank you for coming, bro. I really appreciate it. Who's that? Who's this? What's going on, man? How are you? How you doing? A lot of my folks from Facebook is also starting to follow me on here too. So I'm doing good, man. I'm blessed. We're about to get this live started in a little bit. I'm just waiting for my co-hosts to pull up. We still got 3 minutes. Let's keep tapping that screen. And keep tapping that screen. Share that live. Share the live to like 10 people that haven't been in this live before, man. It's going good, man. Getting ready for this rain to get out here. Yeah, Polka, welcome in. Will Salter, that's what I said. Will Salter, welcome in. Thank y'all for tapping the screen, man. Yeah, it's supposed to start pouring soon. It's gonna be raining. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I appreciate everybody for coming in, man. It's still early, y'all. We still got some time. I'm just kind of breaking down what the live is gonna be about. Make sure everybody in here follow Tav. That just popped up in the live. He's gonna be the one coming up, just kind of speaking on the things that he has going on as far as his mental health is concerned. We're gonna be here to support him. Okay, no judgment in the chat, please, because my moderators will block you no matter who you are, friend or not. You will get blocked if there's judgment in the chat. We do not judge people in here. We do not give people any type of triggering comments, nothing like that. We don't do that in the chat. We don't do it in the boxes. We definitely don't do it in the chat. Good morning, my love. Super's in the building. What's up, sis? Welcome in. We do not judge in here. It's non-judgmental in here. We support each other the way that we support each other on a daily basis on this app. You know what I'm saying? TikTok is big, but it's also small at the same time. So, we all run in this kind of the same circles. We all know one or more of each other. You know what I'm saying? So let's not do anything to trigger each other in here. One more class and I graduate. Let's go. Oh, now that you mentioned something about school, right? So I got my acceptance letter for me to start my classes in the fall. I will be going to school for social working in the mental health field. So I start my classes this fall coming up. So we're gonna do it big, man. When I'm telling you guys, this has become a calling for me. Yeah. Yep, this has become a calling for me. It seems like no matter if I want to take a day off or not, thank you, baby. No matter if I want to take a day off or not, I can never take a day off when it comes to this type of stuff. Like, there be days where I'll be like, all right, I'm just not gonna do anything in regards to this, right? And then I pop into a live where they're talking about mental health, and it kind of calls to me, and I go in there and I kind of give everybody, some tools and stuff, some different ways of learning and different ways of seeing perspectives, because sometimes we're very one-sided with the way that we think. So in order to learn about mental health and be open to mental health, you got to be able to be open-minded in learning different perspectives, and not just understand that your perspective is not always the best route. You know what I'm saying? I'll be a medical behaviorist mentor. Oh, that's dope. That kind of plays into mental health as well, though. That kind of plays into mental health. Mika, thank you for the heart me. Let's go with number 84 on the team. That plays into mental health as well, sis. So that's going to be dope. That's gonna be dope. I like that. Yeah, that's gonna be fire. I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see what you're gonna do with that. Taste so fresh. Welcome in. Thank you for the roses, bro. I appreciate you. Yeah. So everybody, so keep in mind. I know I said I got something going on in regards to the subscriptions. I'll talk about that a little later in regards to the subscriptions when we have more people in here. What time is it? 9 o'clock. It's 9:01. All right, let's start sharing the live out to some folks. Who do we have? We have Self Mastery. We have Brian, Kiddo, Big Ol' Fine, Amber. Who else? Miss Harris, Pitmaster, Relationship Gumbo. I need my heavy hitters in here for this one, so that way we could really take care of folks in here. Hormiga, Velvet. I need a few more mods in here too. I know I got 2 mods in there right now, but I think a few more might not hurt. Velvet Jones. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Riz Walker, welcome in. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. So, on top of supporting my brother, right? I got a topic I want to talk about. I think we've talked about it before, but I want to bring it back because I feel like people don't really understand the definition of accountability. Accountability is a I think it's such a topic that we talk about it. We talk about it a lot, but people really don't apply it to their life. So accountability, I want to talk about that a little later today. Hormiga, welcome in, brother man. Make sure y'all following each other in the chat. Make sure y'all showing love to each other in the chat. Thank y'all for tapping the screen. Thank y'all for even being here. I know it's early in the morning. I know it. I know we have better things that we can do than be on TikTok at early in the morning. But I appreciate y'all for even being here. Charlene, welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. You know what I'm saying? Hormigo, whenever you're ready to come up, send a request. The moderators will send you up, bro. Yeah. I feel like this is going to be a good live. Yeah. Whenever y'all, can somebody bring them up? If y'all can, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Complex, welcome in. What's up, brother?
Good morning. Did you say that we're going to touch on accountability? Is that what you just said?
I want to talk about it. I do want to touch on it.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I want to touch on it, but I also want to go back to the basics. So, good morning, Mert. What's good, bro? So for a lot of people that don't know how we started, Hormiga knows because Hormiga was there from the beginning. When we started these lives, we didn't touch on topics. It's not what we did, right? We supported individuals that were open and willing to come up and speak about their mental health. We made sure that it was a safe environment. We made sure nobody was being judged. We made sure that the comments were running smoothly. We had moderators that you didn't even know were moderators, pretty much. They didn't even comment. We had moderators that didn't even comment, but they were there just in case we had some buffoonery happening in the chat while somebody was talking about their mental health. So I can't reiterate this enough, and I'm gonna keep saying it. Friend or not, if I see anything in the chat, you have to go. Either excuse yourself if you can't control your thoughts or your comments, or my moderators will do it for you. It's really that simple. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's really that simple. It is not that hard. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm very serious about this. I don't need nobody feeling like they can't speak about their mental health in here, because that's the whole point of this platform and this live that we do. Okay, we want everybody to be comfortable. You know what I'm saying? So good morning, good morning. He's probably the best person that I can even have by my side in regards to talking about this, because he's been here since the beginning, so he knows how everything rolls. You know what I'm saying? So, Chad, whenever you're ready to come up, you can.
We've come a long way, huh?
We have we have April. April is going to be 3 years.
Man,
April.
time flies.
Time flies.
And that's with me taking a time out to finish the book.
Right. And me taking time out to start working on my book. So yeah, time flies. For sure. Welcome in, bro. Good morning, man. How are you?
Yeah, what's going on? How y'all doing?
Good, good, good.
Good morning, sir.
Blessed, man. Blessed. So I know me and Venus had gave you some homework to get some stuff done to like kind of get stuff going. You know what I'm saying? How did you feel about that? When how did you feel about doing that? And you know, where were you once we left alive that day?
It mostly was just me taking a look at myself and where I was at. So
Okay.
realizing that, what kind of place I was in mentally was hard to accept,
Hmm.
you know. But it was a growing process.
It's time. It takes time. So what did you? I know we had you like kind of jotting things down as you were like kind of processing certain things. What were you able to get out of like the last couple of weeks that you were doing the processing?
Okay, so I really didn't jot a lot of whole nothing down because I really ain't I'm not a really big writer type person. I
That's
just
fine.
kind of sit and thought on it and kind of let it marinate.
Hmm.
Just thoughts and stuff. The things that brought me peace and stuff, and wondering like why did it bring me peace or why did it put me in a certain kind of mind state.
Right.
I'm still bent on the fact that work brings me peace, even though it's a very stressful environment. But it's just the way my mind is set up to work. I know everybody's mind isn't set up to even accept the stuff that I call peace and non-stressful. But it's just who I am, and it's kind of be like who I grown to be.
Yeah, because I know we spoke recently. When we spoke, you said that that work is pretty much all you knew. You just worked. Like you worked long hours. You worked constantly. You worked nonstop. Work was kind of like your escape from everything, pretty much. Because you just had to work to escape from stuff, pretty much, right?
Basically,
Okay. Um.
yeah.
Yeah. I know. Me personally, I used to do the same thing. Which is why I recognize it. I when I had got my job when I had my job at the market when I used to work as a manager. I was a manager at the supermarket, and I would put in hours that I didn't need to put in just to escape from the world. You know what I'm saying? Like I would come in on my days off just to either do paperwork. You know what I'm saying? To rearrange something in the department that didn't really need rearranging, or it didn't need to be done at that time. But I went in there and did it anyway. You know what I'm saying? Just because I was trying to escape things that I was dealing with mentally. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. I get it. For people that get it. From people that don't. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's because it was yeah. I figure it might have been that. It might have been that controlled environment. It was something that he was able to control. If I'm not mistaken, Tavin. Tavin.
Yeah, it was chaotic, but it was chaos that I had
Well,
the ability to control, like you said.
Okay.
how about a quick little different perspective? How
Uh,
about how about going into an environment that's already controlled so you don't have to control it?
hey sis, welcome in. What's up, Shay? Yeah.
No, see, hold
Something
on,
that's
nigga.
already
Like
established so
my
you're not using your energy too much?
yeah, so my environment was I was a 911 operator, so it's already chaotic.
Mm.
I mean, so it helped me while I was helping other people at the same time.
Interesting.
So for everybody that's coming in, the name of the live, the topic of the live is back to the basics. So what I mean by back to the basics, and is pretty much just giving everybody an opportunity to come speak about their mental health, because we've done a lot of great topics. We've hit a lot of good topics. We have some amazing lives. I got some amazing recordings of lives that we've done, but we haven't touched back to the basics in so long on why we even started these lives. You know what I'm saying? Why we even made this space? Because we have too many platforms on TikTok where negativity is key to them. It rules. It rules supreme because negativity attracts everybody. It attracts it attracts even positive people go to negative lives and enjoy the chaos, right? You know what I'm saying? So we made this platform chaos free as much as we can anyway. We made it chaos free where everybody can come in no matter what they got going on. They can come in and speak about what they need to speak about as far as their mental health is concerned, as far as if you got trauma, PTSD, whatever you got going on that you feel like you need to release. Divine Beginning Sis, we come in here. This is a safe haven. No matter what you do on TikTok, it's a safe haven here to speak on what you need to speak about, and there is no judgment. So Tav came up. He's kind of speaking on the things that he has going on as far as his mental health is concerned. We had spoken on a previous live that I hosted with Venus, and Venus comes in strong. If y'all know Venus, y'all been in here, y'all know who Venus is. Venus comes in strong with the affirmations, with the powerful words, with just showing love and support as much as she can. You know what I'm saying? Just to give a different perspective. She did just that. You know what I'm saying? She came in and she showed him love, and he understood. For the most part, he understood everything that was going on. What she was speaking on. So I love the fact that you guys had that connection. That was pretty dope to see that. But he's kind of like talking about controlled environment. So controlled environment. Let's use that as a topic. Right? To have a controlled environment where you feel like you don't have to do much pertaining to your mental health. You kind of you're there, right? You're not even having to do a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because that environment is comfortable for you, that you don't really have to get too far into your thoughts. You know what I'm saying? In regards to things. That's where work was for him, pretty much, is what he said. It was chaotic, but it was controlled chaos. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't anything where it wasn't straining him as much. But you know what I'm saying? If you want to continue, Tab, go ahead.
No. I mean, no, it wasn't too straining for me. Now, granted, I've seen a lot of people trying to come into that field, and a lot of people burnt out of it, especially when this whole pandemic stuff started happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's emotionally draining for a lot of people trying to get into this. A lot of people don't last long. They might hit 2 years. I hit 18. But it was peaceful to me. It's just like being in the eye of a storm, when everybody just out there screaming, everything just gets quiet for me and relax. And my heart rate, honestly, was literally at the lowest rate it's ever been when things go crazy.
Right. So
apparently,
go ahead.
So apparently in May, I just worked so much over these last 3 years to where I worked myself into a stroke. And that's the hardest part of everything, is me not being able to work because I ain't a stroke and I'm not at work right now.
Mm-hmm.
Which then that's where my mental health starts being affected. I realize I got control issues, anger issues.
Bro, welcome in. You know what's the most difficult thing, especially when it comes to mental health? When you have an environment that's controlled and you don't have to do much, and then you no longer have that environment. Now you have to sit in your thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Because that environment is no longer there. That's when you start to realize and start to analyze things that you've never analyzed before. But sometimes it it takes that to happen for change to happen. You got to be able to you got to get out of that. You got to get out of your comfort. That's where that controlled environment is your comfort. You know what I'm saying? So when that happens, Miss Harris, when that happens, that's when the floodgates open. The floodgates open. Once you no longer have that controlled environment, the floodgates open and things that you never thought that you would even think about, you start to think about. As far
Yeah.
as your character's concerned, as far as your life in general, things start to open up and you don't even understand it because you've never actually dealt with it, spoke about it, tried to analyze it. It's just there. And now it's taking over.
Uh, you also find yourself that if there's only one environment that you can function in, that you will be dysfunctional in other environments. We tend to pick a comfort zone, whether it's chaotic to other people. We find comfort sometimes in the strangest places, but sometimes we disregard the other parts of life that need some attention as well, because we get confined to that comfort zone, whether it's chaotic or not.
Right.
So, got to be able to function in multi environments because your life is not just that environment. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense because that's when I'm starting to realize, okay, like I can function at work without a problem. The things that drive most people crazy, I'm cool with. Then I start after since I'm not at work, I'm starting to realize my marriage is starting to go downhill. My marriage is almost dysfunctional now because we're not used to spending this much time around each other. We're not used to being around each other this much. 15 to 16 hours a day. I'm at work. Are you on the way to work?
Right.
So now we got all day we here with each other. I realized that certain things that I like she don't like. Certain things she like I don't like.
What's
It's making a lot of stuff dysfunctional. Or
happening?
show is bringing out that dysfunctionality in a lot of stuff.
Right.
Hmm. Well, let's try to separate the words unfunctional from dysfunctional. They're a little different. Unfunctional is just something that doesn't work. Dysfunctional is something that clashes, that it just creates more problems. It doesn't get to where we need to get to. So unfunctional is just a very simple way of saying it's not working.
Right. But what we were trying to explain to him is that because he's always at work, because he's used to being at work, is what's causing the 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 dysfunction in the marriage is because he's so used to being at work and she's so used to him being at work that they don't ever have these issues because they knew they had everything structured. He's at work, he's doing his hours, he's doing his thing. They don't really see each other until it's time pretty much for bed or probably after. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's how some real marriages are. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you are accustomed, that's the word, accustomed to something, and you no longer see that happening, it becomes turmoil. It can become turmoil. You know what I'm saying? Like he said,
Yeah.
he feel like his marriage is going downhill because they really spending too much time together.
They're spending too much time together.
They
Yeah. I
imagine.
mean,
Think about
yeah,
that for a
too
second.
much time together because it's usually
Think about not being able. Think about you. All right. For example, I'm gonna use you as an example, Hermiga. Imagine you being in a relationship, right?
Imagine that.
Imagine you being in a relationship or in a relationship, and you're a workaholic. All you do is work, right? Your wife don't see you throughout the day because all you do is work. And then when you guys do see each other, gives you guys the opportunity to miss each other because you're working. You know what I'm saying? She working or she's doing her thing, and then you guys come home. Yeah, you guys get together after a long day, whatever the case may be. Fast forward with you not working no more. Now you guys are home with each other 24/7. You telling me that's not gonna drive you crazy?
Yeah.
It will drive some people crazy. It depends on a couple of factors here, but for the most part, you're right. For the most part, look, any change in life that you are already accustomed to, like you said, right? Any change in life that you're accustomed to that has a sudden flip, you understand? All of a sudden, you start panicking. You understand? Because that's not the way you function. The way you function, it is necessary for you to get engulfed in your job because, again, it's an escape from certain things. And sometimes being in your job is where you're best at. Maybe you're better at where you at than to have to deal with that. But yes, when this happened in 2020 a lot of people broke up when they actually got to know their mate, where they actually got to see their mate in more situations than not. You understand? So
Yeah,
think
no,
about all the
you mean
breakups
about
that happened in 2020.
you talking about the isolation stage in COVID? You talking about that
the,
part?
the, the the stage where you actually had to spend more time than you're used to with your mate, you get to learn more about your mate being in front of them because you get to see what the facade is, you get to see what their real true nature is, you get to see how nasty they really are, you get to see how beautiful they are, you understand? You get to really see a person from the perspective of being in front of you all the time. Yes, it gets tiring, of course it does.
But see, except for the person like that was in my situation, I didn't get to stay home from during COVID. I worked every day for the last 3 years before May. Every day for the last 3 years, I was at work 12, 15 hours a day. So, it was just a whole thing where we spend too much time together, like you said. I left home at 5. I got up at 5 o'clock every morning. I didn't get home till about 8:30 at night. And then I still spent an hour in the car just trying to decompress before I came in the house.
Right.
You know,
I like that.
because
I like that you did that to decompress it because you don't want to bring all the stuff that you dealt with at work in your home.
Yes. I call that term flushing your mental toilet. Having to switch hats when you're going from one situation to another and not having to bring the chaos or the turmoil from one situation into another because that person really doesn't deserve that.
Right. Paula Pie, welcome in.
yeah,
I get that.
and
So
you know,
go ahead.
you can get at work. It's easier to deal with the stuff, because the people that you work with understand the situations they're in. So we sit in there and we laugh and joke in between the calls and stuff about the calls and everything. And then, like, my wife is a extremely emotional person. This job has taught me not to be so emotional. I've learned to guard my emotions or just basically bury them.
Hmm.
So I can be cold hearted at work, at home. Nah, when I get home, I got to try to be this old sensitive person just to suit her needs. And
So
it's not naturally who I am.
can you say that now this is just a question. That you couldn't separate the person that you are at work versus the person that you should be at home?
I honestly would say that
Or is the person that you are at work is the person that you are at home? Or is that your actual like your personality?
typically the person that I am at work is the person that I am at home. But now, oh no, since I got married, the person I am at work is not really the person that's needed to be the person that's at home with my wife. At work, I could be an extremely emotional, cold-hearted person as long as the job got done, as long as lives were saved.
Mhm.
At home, I can't do that there because you get to be an emotionalist and cold-hearted towards your wife, and that's gonna cause other problems to come into play.
And the fact that you realize that is dope. That's a big step that you realize that, you know what I'm saying, you got to be able to separate the two. Now, that kind of falls into the play of having emotional intelligence, right? Um, I know in society that we live today, emotional intelligence is not something that they want men to have, okay? But it's something that men need. Period, point blank. There's no way around it. Me and Hormiga had this conversation more times than I can count. You know what I'm saying? Emotional intelligence is so important for a man to have because it will make him it makes him become a powerful individual. because being able to separate logic and emotions, but still be able to work within both realms. How can you really, you know what I'm saying? How can you break a man down that's able to do both?
You can't. You can't.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's very difficult. And
You,
in a sense of being a working man, like he like my brother is, you know what I'm saying? He works. So especially in the field that he works in, emotions is not something that he can really have. A 911 operator, that's not something that you can really, you can involve emotions with. You know what I'm saying? Because that can ruin somebody's life, can be gone within an instant just from your emotions, for not thinking properly. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was more
Exactly.
logic than anything. So I get it. I get it. I
well,
get
So, like I said, it's a learned aspect for me, to be emotionalist. It's a learned skill, but that skill that was learned is a skill that saved many lives over the years.
right.
You know, if I would have got emotional and just broke down and started crying because of something bad, I couldn't help the people that I helped.
Right. You
You
saved a
know,
lot of lives.
that makes a lot of sense, you see, because at work he has to be a professional,
Hmm.
and what that calls for is for him to be numb. That's the
and
opposite. You know what I'm saying? Is
yeah,
it not being numb is not the opposite of actually letting it absorb you and take you to a place where you don't need to be. Otherwise, you're gonna do a horrible job at work.
Right. And you know
but
what's
see,
crazy?
at the
The
same time,
operators
it's
don't get the
confusing
recognition
because
that they deserve either. They don't get the recognition that they
yeah,
deserve because you guys are front line. You guys
oh
are
yeah,
front line. You guys deserve the recognition that the police get, the fire department gets. You guys deserve those recognitions because without y'all, like, things would not run the way that it runs. It wouldn't run. It wouldn't run like a well-oiled machine.
It's
So
time. There's a lot of time involved with these calls. There are emergency calls, and they need someone that can do the call to action. And if you're gonna get emotional, and you're gonna try to consult people, and it's gonna get to you, a few seconds makes a difference in someone's life.
it's a confusing part of your life because
he
at
just
one part of it you have to be emotionalist, but at the same time you have to learn how to sympathize with the people that you're dealing with. And you have to learn how to tap into their emotions, which is the hardest part of the job. They are gonna always tell you that one of the parts of the job that is gonna happen. You're gonna get secondary stress. That's when you start living through their emotions and their situations and everything. So now you're getting stressed out because they're stressed out, and then you can't block off your emotions too much because you won't know how to sympathize with them.
right.
It's just like you got to be able to turn that emotional switch on in a heartbeat just so you can get through the call, but you can't get too emotional to where it breaks you down and stops you from helping them.
What I'm getting from this is that you have to have a high level of grounding and balance in order for you to do your job productive.
That's what I'm getting out of that. That's
Yeah,
what I'm getting out of that.
But it
basically.
but
So
but listen to this. If you can be grounded and you can be balanced in order for you to do a professional job, you can do the same thing at home.
You can.
but that's where the hard part comes in because I know how to turn on the emotional switch in times of need, in dire times of need. But when I get home, it's just I'm a cold person.
It's the different type of emotional availability. Women
Yeah.
expect men for men to be emotionally available for them in a different state of mind. And
Oh, good
the
morning.
thing the thing is that you have a different connection to your wife than you do to the people. The people at work, I could only imagine the amount of phone calls that you get throughout the day. And I'm sure that there are some days that are tougher than others, right? And
How are
I
you
don't
doing?
even want to know the things that you listen to or hear because that's a lot of negative energy that's going inside your body, that's going inside your soul, that's going inside your thought process. So for you to have to
Good morning, B.
reset every phone call, reset, start all over, you're doing it constantly throughout the day. And that's why it might take you a long time to digress after work,
Anytime.
because look at all the negative things that you're listening to throughout the day. Plus, you work long hours. That's a tough environment, my friend. Very tough environment.
Yeah, and I gotta applaud
Because
you for
nobody
working
never calls
all
and
those
say,
years.
"I hope you guys are having a great day," or "Oh, today's nice and sunny." It's never a thing like that. Only time people call you is
It's okay.
when they having a problem.
And
So
that's
you
and
know,
that's and that sucks because, believe it or not,
It's all right. You're here
a,
now.
a,
That's all that
a,
matters.
a pat on the back and a little bit of acknowledgement,
Mhm.
you know, I think a lot of people in your field actually get touched by mental health more than a lot of others because it's just that constant negativity that keeps flowing in. You really don't have a chance throughout the day to take a break and say, I need a breath. I need a moment. I need a chance to revert this negative attention or deflect it in another way because you are taking that home with you. You are taking that on the road with you. You are taking that to the store. You're taking that wherever it is that you're doing. There's a huge point that's still riding with you because you just said it. That's who you are. That's where you feel the most comfortable in. So that's what you've accepted.
my pat on the back is different from a lot of other people in that field. And when you're working at a job, my pat on the back is when mother calls and says her baby is choking, and you don't hear that baby breathing, screaming and crying. Your pat on the back then is when you hear that child start crying.
Right.
That's your pat on the back.
Right.
I've learned to just accept that is what it is. You know, it's just it's weird dealing with children. I have a hard time dealing with children, but I still get through it.
Mhm.
Strangely, in this county, I got 3 other kids named after me just because I helped bring them into the world. I ain't got no kids, but I got kids named after me. So
That's the
it's
beautiful
a weird
thing.
thing.
Beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing.
See, the thing is that somewhere along the line,
Hey, coach.
you can't shut down your emotions because you're switching from one situation to another. Shutting down your emotions is a no-no in my book. Dealing with them, accepting them, understanding them is all part of emotional intelligence. You understand? Like
Mhm.
knowing where they come from, seeing them coming from far, so that you don't even allow them to cross through your gate. Having to filter these things and try to understand what is this actually that's happening to me right now because I'm not really feeling comfortable. I've already shut down my systems. You understand? I don't want to deal with these things. But at the long run, they break you down in such a harsh way that you become unfunctional and dysfunctional all at once.
Right.
And that's if you ignore it. See, because we could only do but so much. Believe it or not, as much as we try to ignore our emotions, all they're doing is piling up in another area of our mentality or our soul, and it gets to us. So I give it to you, and I'm proud of what you do. Um, I wouldn't recommend this type of profession to a lot of people because they won't do a good job because it takes a certain person to do it.
It does take a certain
Yeah.
person to do it, and that's why I want to say thank you for your services for as long as you've been doing it because that right there, it's not easy. It is not an easy task. It's not an easy task.
It's basically a calling for a person to do this job. Because honestly, I don't recall the day I put an application in to start doing this job. All I remember is getting called for the interview. I literally don't remember putting an application in for this job.
You know it.
But once I started, I never left it.
Well, I
I
tell you
well,
what,
I took a hiatus for a few years because I was starting to get burned out, but I came right back to it.
Right.
It's something you can't get away from. The harder thing is just trying to learn how to. Okay, if you miss trying to get married in this field, because most of the people that are married in this field are like, okay, it's no. Most of 911 operators are married to cops. The reason why they're married to cops is because cops can understand what they're going through. They know what they're going through. Or
Right.
else they're married to little doctors and nurses. And cops are married to doctors and
Someone
nurses,
that can
and vice versa.
understand. Someone that can understand the urgency of why they do their job. Pretty much.
Yes.
yeah, when you're in a chaotic situation where it's a fast-paced environment and there's lives that are at stake, when somebody's life is in your hand, it takes a certain individual to be able to weed out all the fluffy stuff and get to the heart of the matter so you can help this person. You're not even allowed to, again, display all your emotions if it's not sympathy You don't have time for it. The moment that you go left on any one of these conversations, you could cause somebody's life, and it's in your hands. That's a tough pill to swallow and a lot of responsibility to carry.
No, that's true.
And the
Yeah.
reason why I went to work all the time is because of the fact that I have this weird mentality. I'm the best there is. If I don't go to work, there's something that's going to happen that I could have probably had the opportunity to reverse. And I have honestly seen that happen a lot. So
But that's
literally this
also
shit that happened,
a lot of responsibility to put on yourself.
And it's a lot of extra burden.
it
And it's an
is.
extra burden that doesn't need to be put on you. Honestly, I mean,
You're a human, bro.
I respect and appreciate the fact that you take that job so seriously, because we do need operators that do take that job seriously. You know what I'm saying? And that can weed out their emotions in regards to what's going on in regards to the environment or phone call of that environment. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate all of that. But to be able to not take the work home with you, because even though we don't take the work home with us, we take the work home with us. If that makes sense, you know what I'm
It
saying. We're
makes a
still
lot of
taking it.
sense.
We're taking it home mentally. We're still taking with, even though we're not showing the emotions emotionally. It was a draining ass day because I dealt with emergency calls for 16 hours. You know what I'm saying. Regardless if you're showing the emotions or not, in your body physically, you can feel the emotions. Your body still goes through the strains of the emotions. You're just not expressing it. You know what I'm
But see,
saying?
my part is even harder for my situation because not only am I 911 operator, I'm also a certified officer. So a lot of the calls I take, I have to sometimes pass it off to another operator and then jump up and head there depending on how short staff we are. So you hear me on the phone, and 5 minutes later you're gonna see me in face, and then I'm dealing with the stuff face to face. So you really never get a chance to get over it completely because more than likely what you dealt with on that call when you get home. If you're a person like me, I watch the news every day for some reason. It's
Mhm.
just something my grandparents did, my parents. So I see that called on the news.
Right.
I see, that situation come up from that call I was on or dealing with earlier. So now you're reliving it all over again.
So
That's
can I ask you
that's
a
that's
question?
tough. That's tough because when you come home, you really don't have nothing left. You don't have the interest or the energy. What you're looking for is some type of peace. And by putting yourself again in that situation, you just said it. The answer is right there. What you said. I would suggest you stay away from TV because what better news than the news that you have from what you did throughout the day? It doesn't get any better than that. You got real life shit going on in your life. Like these situations that you experience and you're a part of, there is no better news than that. I think that it's overindulging. I would stay away from the news and I would try to focus on something else because at the end of the day, I could tell that you want peace when you come from all these situations. And without that peace, you'll never be able to tranquilize yourself to a point where you could be a little more functional in your relationship because maybe what you're looking for, the relationship won't give you. That's something that might be internal.
Right. I was actually getting there.
And I agree with you, Miss Sweetie. But
And
I can handle it, but my wife can't. Because there's
I
been
was gonna ask
situations
you
where
about that because I was gonna say what is the communication with you and your wife in regards to your field of work? Like, is she able to understand the things that you have to
okay,
do in order to save a life? In
no,
order to
okay, so she appreciates it. She doesn't understand it completely. Because I've had it, even when I'm not at work, the one day I need to take off, we're at a family member's house and she gets a call about her grandfather not breathing, and they couldn't really feel a pulse on him.
Mhm.
Next thing you know, while I'm on my own day, I have to take the phone and go into a CPR standards, coaching somebody through CPR. So she understood it at that moment, what I did, and how I can go from one mindset to
For the
right back
next.
at work in a heartbeat.
Mhm.
because it took her family, her grandfather being almost gone for that to happen. Or else we could be driving down the road in my county and we see an accident. She's sensitive as hell. She starts crying. Next thing I know, I'm grabbing my phone. I'm calling out helicopters and calling out paramedics by my phone because of the fact that I already know what needs to be done. And if I'm able to be there on scene, I can get stuff did faster, and I can get possibility of saving more lives. While she's sitting in the passenger seat crying, I'm working. So the biggest thing is I have no way to separate my work life from my life.
So you know what I could say now. Now that you're not able to work, you can. Now that you're not able to work, that's something that you can work on. That's the now that you're now that you don't have to worry about getting up and taking these calls for 16 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? And now you can focus on you and her. But in order to focus on you and her, you got to focus on you first.
And I still, I have, now that I'm not able to work, like you said, I have the opportunity to.
Mm-hmm.
I still have my radio, so I'm listening to my radio just about all day long, and I'm calling them. You need to reverse that, get this crew out here first, and you're gonna get somebody else on the way out here for that situation. I'm I'm mentally working and calling in to the job at the same time. I'm not there. I'm not getting paid for it, but in my head, I'm still working.
Let
So
me
I
let me
can't.
let me give you a different perspective. Recently I started working with people that are retiring, right? That they're at the age of retiring, and they have engulfed themselves so much in their work that when they retire, they're totally lost because their life is surrounded or it encompasses their work,
Mm-hmm.
and they've lost all sight of their individualism because they relied heavily on their work. You don't want to be in this situation. So you want to start doing the work now to try to separate yourself. And we're going to talk about some things that you can do to do that because I just don't want to throw it in the air without having a couple of solutions. But what I find with these people that retire is that they've lost their entire identity because their identity was all related to work. So once they're not working anymore, they're lost. And you might have to find something else to occupy your time. Have you considered maybe helping your profession in a way where you could help train, where you could do some outlines of how to perceive calls, how to be better productive, how to utilize time better? Is there something that might interest you in training people or going into a higher level so you're not directly involved with this all the time? Is that something you may be able to see?
To be honest with you, I probably can't really see it. I mean, it's just something that I don't think I'm really 100% capable of because, okay, depending on where you're at, some of the bigger agencies have what they call a quiet room or something. If you get a call that's too stressful for you, you can get up and go in the quiet room. We don't have a quiet room. We're a small
It's
Alabama
not government,
agency, so
right?
we don't have a quiet room.
Yeah.
We you deal with this crap, and you keep pushing to the next call, which the next call might be 45 seconds later for the next emergency. So it's just something you're forced to have to learn how to push down because it's already bad enough that the life expectation for somebody who retires from law enforcement is only 5 years
Yeah.
after retiring. So
That's what I was going to ask you that because believe it or not, a lot of people that do retire from certain professions, they don't last long. They don't last long at all. They pretty
Exactly.
much give up because they can't do what they love to do in their passion.
Especially in the medical field, like anything medical or anything emergency related, they don't last long because it's a calling. To work in the medical field, to work in the emergency in the just emergency field,
Not 911 period.
like it's a calling. It's not something. It's not just a job. It's not just a paycheck. It's not.
yeah,
It pays good. But it's like it's not just a paycheck. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's really a calling. Like, cause I used to work for Life Alert, so I know exactly what he's talking about.
And
These,
I used to take the calls from y'all to work for Life Alert.
yeah, I used to I worked for Life Alert for 3 years. I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. These calls that used to come in, they had no time frame. We had calls that came in 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying? And we had to take those calls, especially during COVID. Forget about it. Them calls was through the roof. We would get at least 90 to 200 calls before the morning time during COVID, because you had emergency services that didn't want to come up to assist people because of COVID. You know what I'm saying? They were trying to, they chose not to go up and service or do things. You had security officers that were preventing emergency services, EMTs, fire department to come up to the buildings to assist because of COVID. You know what I'm saying? They had to go through all these protocols and all these. Listen, it was a lot. So I know exactly what he's talking about. It's not easy. You do gotta separate your emotions out of it, especially when it's the elderly. Dealing with the elderly, especially during Life Alert, in a Life Alert situation, they have either the necklace, or the base thing at their house where they can press the button and it creates the call, goes to the call center, and then we have to either coordinate a phone call with fire department, with the EMTs, or with the police department. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it was hard because some of the clients, they didn't speak English. Some of them didn't either, and or they just couldn't comprehend.
Or they can't talk. They're erratic.
Yeah, they were so like their emotions were so heightened, like they couldn't really explain what was going on with them and why they pressed the button. So it was just like it was a lot. It's a lot that goes into them type of calls.
Yeah.
So I get
COVID
it.
showed you who a person really was at that time, because we got them calls about it. Okay, they're not breathing, they're running a fever and all this stuff right here. And are you willing to do CPR on them? It's your mother. No, I'm not willing. And then next thing you know, who? I got to get up out my seat, get in the car and go drive out there because I have to do CPR on them.
Mhm.
It was just that thing like, okay, and it showed me how blessed I actually was because I never caught COVID. I laid next to my wife every night during all 3 times that she had COVID. Laid in the bed with her every night. Never got it.
You're a
So
caretaker, whether you see it or not. You're a caretaker. You
you are.
take you take care of people, and it makes you feel good. But you also have to pat yourself on the back sometimes and reward yourself for the things that you do well. That way, we don't rely on outside sources in order to put you in the place where you at. And I don't think you need much, my brother. I don't think you need much patting on the back because you go through this day in and day out. This is what you do, and you take
Yeah.
that with you wherever you go. That's who you are. You feel
But
me?
now you got to give yourself grace because you've done the work, right? You've done all this work. You've taken care of so many people. Like you said, you had 3 children that came into this life that have your name because of the things that you've done. You know what I'm saying? And they're not even your kids. That right there itself speaks volume. It speaks volume. Okay, you got to give yourself grace. You got to give yourself, and but in order, in as well as giving yourself grace, you got to give yourself the opportunity to make yourself better. Better than what you already the things that you've accomplished, the things that you've already done. Now it's time to focus on you. You know what I'm saying? You've done so much over the years to focus on other people. Now it's time to focus on you.
Yeah. So along with my mental health, I have to learn how to control my control abilities. Control issues.
Happy
Because
Saturday, Elizabeth.
I always say like I went into work a lot of times when I wasn't even scheduled to go into work because I know this person here can't do the job the way I can do it. Somebody ain't gonna survive if I ain't here. Things are gonna go bad if I'm not there. So I had to, I just made myself come on in and work. And
Mm,
then that left my wife to have to be alone a lot of times. Cause this is the first time I was off for Christmas in the last 8 years. This was the first Christmas I was off, and it was only because I can't go to work.
Mm.
Maybe it took this. Maybe it took this because God works in a mysterious way, my brother. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it took you to be pushed against the wall and something removed from you so you could see a different perspective because you have to balance out all the factors that are in your life, all the environment, not just work. And I understand that you're committed to being the person that you are, but can you have that same commitment towards yourself? Because if you do work on yourself,
Hmm.
then you can do a better job at everything else that's surrounding in your environment.
What I've experienced, right, and this is just for me. I can't really speak on anybody else. When I took the time to focus on me 4 years ago, going on 5 actually, um, I had to reset everything in my life. Everything had to be reset. You know what I'm saying? Because there was things that I learned that I needed to not unlearn, but I needed to minimize so that way I can learn new things and I can open up different perspectives in my head. I was just like Tab. I was a workaholic. I worked shit damn near 50, 60 hours, probably more. Oh, you know, as and that was within like a week. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was just working nonstop because it was just like that's all I knew. I had mouths to feed. I didn't really do much. I didn't really go out partying. I didn't go out with friends or drinking, nothing like that. It was just work, 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 work. So
Yeah.
eventually I realized how much it was stressing me out that I didn't have a life. You know what I'm saying? All I did was work. I didn't spend none of my money. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't really do much. I didn't go on vacations. I didn't do nothing like that. So I had to change my mindset. Like there was more to life than just work. And it took me I want to say a year for me to realize that. And then once I realized it, I changed everything. I unlearned the that just work mentality because it was stressful. Like it was physically making me ill for me to be at work all the time. Like it was physically making me ill. So I needed to unlearn that and I needed to be better for myself, not only for myself but for my kids because I didn't really show the love and support for my kids the way I should have because I was always working. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was always working. It sounds crazy, but it's true. It's weird, but hey, it happens. But I had to unlearn that. I had to be a better version of myself. And I didn't have the guidance that I needed to learn these things. I had to learn these things on my own. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have a Hormiga or a relationship gumbo or a Sonia Renee to kind of guide me through these things. It was just me and my thoughts and the things that I've learned and the things that I've read in order to like fix that. So I feel like anybody's able to do it, honestly. You know what I'm saying? It's just how much do you want to do it? You know what I'm saying? How much effort do you want to put in to being uncomfortable to unlearn things that you feel like it's uncomfortable for you to learn? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's gonna take being uncomfortable. It's gonna take being uncomfortable
And a lot of it.
and a lot of uncomfortability to learn new things or to unlearn things that you feel like it's comfortable.
Yeah,
Because
but the hard part is to knowing how good you are at this stuff. Okay, because a lot of people used to tell me when I was working so much, my folks were like, you know, if something happened to
what's
you,
up,
they're gonna
Pop?
have that position
You
filled,
good,
and
bro?
they're gonna have somebody else in your position in a heartbeat.
Hmm.
Well, okay, well now I'm in a whole nother place with that whole statement because this happened 7 months ago, and now I'm growing even more cocky and all kind of crazy because my position hasn't been filled because they can't find anybody fill my position. So now I'm looking like they needed me there, and
Hmm.
it might have been a blessing that I was there for that position because nobody else could do what I did.
Hmm.
I never trained people because I didn't believe in training people because I'm not going to train you to take my job one day. So
So
nobody knew
so
what I knew.
so look at it this way. Um Do you understand that sometimes the things that we're the most good at or the best at are the things that are destroying us?
Lomax,
That makes a lot of sense.
So, 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 so for you to think that you're not expendable, I get it. You're really good at your job and you've made yourself so important that maybe nobody can replace you. But unfortunately, life has trauma. Life has situations that are going to happen with or without you. Do you realize that you don't have to make all these your problems? That sometimes it's okay to say, it's not my problem. It's not my turn. What is our saying? What is our saying? Get somebody else to do it.
get somebody else to do it.
Do you understand how powerful that is? That sometimes we don't trust other people to do what we do, but it's not about that. That if you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be productive anyway. To what expense are you going to continue to pour into a cup that could be destroying you? It's not giving you groundness in your life. It's only giving you grounded feelings and balance in your work environment. But then what it does, it doesn't allow
Commodity.
you to think about everything else in your life, including yourself.
Oh,
You understand? So you got to start pouring into your own cup because obviously not too many people are pouring into it, right? So the same level of effort that you put into your work and the chaos that you've able to suppress, you have to be able to prioritize what are the most important things in your life. And sometimes we can't let the shells lay where they're at. Sometimes you got to move them around in order for you to create a happy environment and everything in life, not just your job. You got to take care of yourself, Pops. You got to do it.
you gotta understand. You've been doing this for so long that. Let me ask you this question:
Uh-huh.
within the amount of time that you've been doing this job, right? How many individuals pulled you aside and asked you if it was okay?
It rarely happens. I mean, it's happened a couple times, but it rarely happens. And I say a couple times in what, almost 18 years.
That's what I'm saying.
But saying no,
That's why I
it's
asked you
just
that
some,
question.
no. I mean, really, nobody. Okay, here's the thing. A nurse at the hospital after I had my stroke asked me if I was okay. I was so unused to hearing that statement toward me, I instantly broke down and started crying. It was just something I wasn't used to hearing. I'm used to being the one that asking, "Is everything okay? How you feeling?" or something like that, right there. When
Mhm.
I'm talking to people, to where when somebody asked me that question, I didn't really know how to respond.
Do you understand that? Do you understand
What
that
is the
by
same
suppressing it, right? Do you understand that by suppressing it and by deflecting it, it's the same thing as brushing it under the rug? Do you understand that not dealing with it, it is accumulating and it's borderline destroying you? That it may not seem like that now, but if you continue down this road, I guarantee you that you're going to hurt yourself because you haven't taken the time to absorb the small things in life. You're good at what you do. I'm not going to take that away from you, right? You're good at what you do, but there are other things in life that you have to put as much effort as you do to these things because they are that much important.
So keep in mind, right? I want to make sure that this is in the air, right? Because as much as this is about you, this is also about your wife. Okay. Um,
And
I'm
yeah,
big on making sure that the person that you're with is okay. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of the lack of communication and the lack of understanding you guys have of each other, you guys still made a vow to each other to make sure that you guys were good. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? At the end of the day. So my suggestion, honestly, is counseling. And I know I said it to you before, um, and I'm gonna keep saying it because I'm big on it. Counseling. If you feel like you guys can't communicate just within you two, you know what I'm saying? You can't figure it out within you two. Get a third party involved.
Mm.
Get a neutral person involved that can separate. You know what I'm saying? Separate the situation enough where you guys can communicate because there's a disconnect. And it's not because you did anything bad. It's not because he's cheating. It's not because he's stepping out of his relationship. It's because he worked too much.
He's pouring into one cup.
And he's pouring into one cup instead of separating what he's pouring into. That's all it is. We have situations where Fontaine's coming up. We have situations where, and we can all see it, we've all seen it, where relationships fall because of infidelity and cheating and all this
Or money.
or money. That's not even the case in his marriage. That's not even the case.
It's basically, I was cheating on her with my job.
That's it.
Well, that's because it's uneven. The amount of time and effort that you're putting into your job, it translates to none for her. So you got to start chipping away and learning how to redirect that energy towards the things that actually matter, which is your life and her life and the relationship. Those are three different things.
So keep in mind, let's look at it this way, right? I want to look at it in this perspective. Let's say the job that you've done, right? You did it for 18, you did it for 6, as long as you've done it for, right? And it wasn't even available for you to do anymore. You know what you have left is your wife. Because regardless of what goes on in the world, right? She's there. She's not going anywhere. She doesn't want to go anywhere. I'm pretty sure she wants to fix what you guys got going on in order for y'all to continue this beautiful marriage of yours that should be continuing. You know what I'm saying? That's the major thing. We got to be able to understand that work is cool. It's good to work. It's good to make money. It's good to make sure that the bills is paid, kids is taken care of, house is taken care of, et cetera, et cetera. But we can't ignore the person that we're with. We can't ignore the person that we with. We can't ignore the fact that we came in this together and we should be working at this together. You know what I'm saying? Versus me just pouring into my job and not pouring into my spouse. You know what I'm saying? It's very
My biggest issue was.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
My biggest issue is that I had a habit of putting off stuff. Okay, so yeah, I was 37 at the time of the stroke.
Mm-hmm.
I literally was 4 years away from retirement with full pension. I would have been retired at the age of 41. Nobody else had did that in my job. I started this job when I was 19. You know, so I'm thinking, I can knock out these 4 years and then we can spend time together then. I'll still be young enough to go out, travel and stuff with her, but I'm still gonna be working. I'm just gonna be working part-time doing it. I was putting off everything to the end.
You're a stabilizer, bro. Right. Every man has to look at themselves as the man holding the world. You know how you got to be mentally. You have to be mentally strong enough to balance the world. You know what I mean? You got to know what it takes to stabilize it. And I get it. You know what I mean? Especially for us as men. All they tell us to do is work, make money. And then you realize that you haven't attached yourself to the most precious things in life, because you got to think about it like this. And somebody said this a long time ago. The most important thing about your life is that dash. Because at the end of the day, the inevitable is that we all got to end. The race is going to end eventually. So it's like, do you feel comfortable with yourself just being a working man and being detached from the things that love you the most? Because a job, it don't matter how many years you put it in. If they change and switch and go over to a new program, a new software, and it makes your position obsolete, you are obsolete. You will no longer matter. This is a system. This is not to make you better, and they care about your life and you and what you going through, and hey, you're replaceable. I don't care how many years you put in. I haven't seen it. I've seen men be somewhere for 30 years, 40 years. And then they say, you know what? You're getting older. So we're going to put somebody young in your position, but they have the knowledge, the skill. They've been doing it for so long, but because they don't have their youth anymore, they're gone. And this person was spending so much time at work that when they lost their job, they didn't know what to do with themselves because, hey, guess what? Their wife left them. Their kids weren't attached to them the way that they needed them. They wanted them to be. Hell, Shit, my father was like that. All he ever talked about was work.
That's my
He,
father was like
you
that
know,
too.
he worked 2 jobs if he needed to, but when it came down to his children, it's like, hey, I ain't got time to be going to no basketball game.
You know, you
I ain't got
know,
time to do.
you know where I seen my father every time at work. I would
Yeah,
go to because he worked in a factory in New York in Brooklyn, and we would have to go to the factory for me to go see him because he's working
yeah, bro.
13,
It's
14, 15 hours, and that's the only time I got to see him. I had to go after school. My mom would drive us over there just to go see him, spend time with him, talk to him. He'll take me around the factory. Like everybody in the factory knew who I was because I was always there. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
So if he was busy, like one of his coworkers would take me to like the lunchroom or the break room and stuff like that and get me some snacks or whatever. But that was the only time I seen my pops. Because
yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean?
That's crazy, bro. Because
So I get it.
it's a thing, you know what I'm saying, for us as men, bro. It makes us feel like, you know what I'm saying, because they keep trying to trick us to believe that our only purpose in this life is to be a goddamn robot, is to be able just to provide some, a materialistic thing while everything else in our lives are falling apart. Because if you work too much, your family doesn't see you, you can't connect with them, you don't know what's really going on. Your kids, after a while, you're going to start noticing your kids is a little bit different than the last time you really, really spent some time with them, and you don't even know where they're at because you're always at work. And it's not to say that we ain't supposed to make no money, but it's just, man, when you think about it, like, that's where your stress comes from. Even for me, when I had that bad panic attack so many years ago, I was working every day. I was working 6 to 6 every day, 6 days a week, and still feeling like I wasn't doing enough. Still feeling like it's more that I need to do. But then I was disconnecting myself from the people that really needed me the most. You know what I mean? When I looked up, when I was in the hospital, the people that cared about me the most were on the phone. You know what I mean? But these were the people I wasn't seeing, or, what I'm saying, hey, I gotta work, or hey, I'll kick it with you next time. Like, even my friend, like, man, you always saying you gonna come, but you never come. Like, and it's like, man, that's what matters. I tell people all the time, like, man, what matters is how it looks at the end. You know what I mean?
You,
Like, do you want just 2 or 3 people at your funeral, or do you want a line of people at your funeral that respect the fact that you could create balance, that you
that's
could be
funny.
there for them?
That's
Because,
funny,
brother,
King. King,
That's
King, you know
crazy.
what?
When he says
Just
that.
something interesting. I was just talking about how I'm working with people that retire and they don't have an exit plan. They might have their money in order, they might have their financing in order, retirement, 401k, that's great. But what is part of your nurturing exit plan? What are you going to be working on? Are you going to miss what you did so much that it's going to break you down? You need to start thinking about this now because, like what King said, regardless of how high you put yourself, you are expendable just like everybody else, and you don't want to prove that because it'll bite you in your ass. All right. So what you need to try to consider is, and here's a question that I have for you, Bird, and this is a very important question. Why do you feel as though you have to engulf yourself so much in this? Is there
It,
something that might be missing in your life that you're putting so much into this?
okay, here's the thing. The reason why I felt so obligated to my job was because I felt like my job was a lot different from the regular jobs out here. My job was the line between life and possibly death. Okay, so that's what kept me so obligated to my job. If I wasn't there, somebody's gonna perish.
Good morning.
And I felt like I just had to be there.
Welcome in, everybody.
Never
But
even
but
gave a
but but
thought
is
to
there
an
a
exit
void?
plan.
Is there a void? Is there something that you're pouring so much into this job because of something that you may feel? And I want you to try to go a little deep with this. Is there something that may be missing in your life that's pushing you to pour so much into this to make up for something that you may not have had or don't have or want? Is that possible?
Okay, here's the thing. My father passed. I called somebody. I called 911. At the time, nobody knew what to do or how to talk me through anything, and paramedics and everything was too far away from the house. Even though I was only 4 years old, it wasn't expected to see that a 4-year-old or anybody who's son or a teenager or adult could do something about that. Now I've seen differently now in my career because I've talked a 8-year-old through saving her grandfather. So I felt like because I didn't have it then, I have to be here to give it to somebody else now. I didn't have
I
that
get it.
level of help.
He didn't. So I feel I get it. I get it. So being with the job that you had the ability to do something that you wasn't able to do for your dad, pretty much for others,
Yeah.
because of okay, all right, got it,
You see where this is going?
Yeah, and it's
got it.
usually
Yeah,
like that. It's
all right,
usually like that for us. You know what I mean? To that we because that's what sent me down my to me having that
Yanni.
extreme panic
Right,
attack. You know what I mean? Because I was solely wrapped in this fantasy or this reality that I cooked up that hey I could be able to manage multiple realities. I could control what happens with my children when they're somewhere else, when they're with their
right,
moms or they're, somewhere else. And then that took me down a spiral of bullshit that was just like, not that I had to go through something, traumatizing to realize that no, I'm only in control of me. I'm only in control of what I can touch physically, reach out to do. That's it. You know what I mean? You can't, because the more and more you put on yourself, the more and more your body is going to say, okay, I'm going to shut down on your ass. I'm going to let you know that this is too much. You're pushing yourself to try to do things that we don't even have the capability of doing. It's kind of like somebody pulling up to McDonald's and saying, hey, man, where's my Whopper? And you like, wait, what? Huh? You know what I mean? Like, wait, we don't even serve that. Like, nah, I need it right now. Give it to me. And the person's just angry. Like, that's you. Like, you going, like, sometimes we put ourselves in positions where we feel like because of where we come from, that we should be all the way better. But just having that thought that, hey, I could do better than where I come from and do it is the better.
right.
You've already done
Yeah.
better. You know what I mean? Like I even had to realize that. Thinking that man, I need to be a better man than my father. I need to make sure that my kids don't experience these type of nightmare triggers to reality for them. And I had to realize, like, wait a minute, they have to go through these things. I can't stand in the way of those things. That's why it's hindering me so much. That's why it's bothering me. That's why it's taking me to a place where I can't even connect to people because I'm trying to be in control of things that I don't even have
No worry,
control
bro.
over.
No worry, bro. Thank you for letting me know that.
That's
Um,
interesting. That's interesting what you said, King, because the truth of the matter is that sometimes we try to make up for lost time. Sometimes we don't deal with that trauma directly, so we try to make up for it by pouring into cups that actually pull us away from what we're actually supposed to be doing.
Yes.
yeah. So let
And
Good,
me
that's
ask.
trauma.
Go ahead,
good
man.
morning, everybody.
Good morning,
I
Beast.
was
Good
I was
morning.
hearing this conversation. Oh my God, I was hearing this conversation. So brother Bear, I was hearing that you was taking these calls for a very long time, and you was dealing with all of that. Then you retired. I'm guessing you retired,
He's
No,
or
out
I
of
had a
work. He's out of
stroke
work.
and I
He's
ain't
out
been
of
able to
work
go to
because he had a
work.
stroke. Mhm.
oh, okay. So what I could say on this, right? You did your due diligence. You did your job. You did what you had to do, and you did it because it felt good. But within all that, you was there for a purpose. Could God put you in that place so you
Mm,
could do his work? And you did his work. So now that you're not there, he's trying to give you something back, and that is peace. And
Yeah.
he's basically telling you, let me take the wheel. Enjoy your peace now.
amen.
Now, granted,
Yeah,
I
because
still plan on
it's gonna
returning.
be another task. It's gonna be another one.
No,
I,
he still got
I
this.
This
understand.
this don't
There's
stop.
still
It don't stop.
there's a
It don't stop. That's why you gotta relax. You gotta,
so
like you said, you gotta let God take the wheel because the next exit gonna be something that you gotta also work through and be better at and learn how to do things because this shit don't stop.
no,
It don't
but
stop.
his new task, he got a large task ahead of him,
Hmm.
right? Um, I don't, and I'm sure everybody's been listening because if you haven't been listening, then you missed out on a lot. Um, he got a large task. Now that he's no longer able to physically do the job that he's doing, um, now he has to focus on his marriage. We're not ignoring that. We can't ignore that. You know what I'm saying? As much as we, like I said, I want him to get better for himself and individually, but we can't ignore that. We can't negate that. Like
Nah.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We can't negate that because regardless of him being an individual, he still needs to be an individual within his marriage. He still has his marriage to focus on. You know what I'm saying?
What,
So, but in
yeah,
order
because
for his
what
marriage to be where it should be, he still needs to do the work.
yeah,
and
you gotta
and I
understand that
and I
when we
would
go
say to
through,
that, and
go
I
ahead,
would say to that, my brother, I'm sorry.
you
And I
good.
would say to that, you know, it's like Hormiga said earlier, God works in mysterious ways. So even though you're working with your significant other, right? Try to talk about things like our Lord and Savior and how He can enter in both of you guys' life. You
Right?
know, because He
What's
wants
up,
to
Mr. Lee?
fulfill something in both of you that you haven't had or you felt like you haven't had. You know, there's still
Now,
something missing that is drawing you back to a
yeah, now
puzzle.
granted,
Slowly welcome
I'm
in.
not completely out of the work game because see, in this amount of time, I've gained 80% of my strength back. You know, I'm just working on my whole left side of the joint just about good except for
That's
my
good, man.
lower left
That's
leg.
good.
You know,
That's
I'm just
good.
working on my from my knee down, and then
Right.
granted, I'm gonna be returning back to work.
Yeah.
You know,
But
because
here's something I
I have
can
a
I
tell
plan
you.
think
put
that
in.
I
Here's something
think
I can
that the
tell you.
reason why you can't communicate or the communication is off is because you're really low key frustrated because you don't really truly, and I'm not, and then don't take it any type of personal way, but it just seems like to
Mm-hmm.
me that you don't really have what Ortega said, like an exit plan. You really don't know what else is there that you could do that you could be as skilled as you've been in this position. And sometimes when you are frustrated or you got things that's going on with you personally, but you also got things that you want to do because of maybe you say you want to be a better man than what you come from or whatever. All of those things, when somebody's telling you to not do those things or hey, you should change them, you should switch them up, is going to frustrate you. So your conversation is always going to be out of frustration if you don't pay attention to the fact that wait a minute, wait, hold on, like I am doing too much, or I am putting a lot on myself. Hey, I am supposed to be here with my wife and my family. I am supposed to be doing this because these are the people that's holding me down. Because I could come home from work one day and nobody fucking be here, and I'm gonna feel like shit. You know what I mean? Like and sometimes it's just that's because I've had to do this where I've had to realize that once I get frustrated, then the whole entire situation is going to become frustration. I
Okay,
mean,
so
once
Mr.
I
Self Care,
allow,
welcome in.
once I allow my thoughts to, because somebody can see something that I don't see. They're on the outside looking in, and those
Yeah.
people are the people you are supposed to listen to. But
Transforming, welcome in.
if you're frustrated with the fact that I don't know what else I could do, I don't know what else I'm good at. This is all that I know. Hey, I'm trying to be better than what I was. Look at all the things that I can help do now, and you're putting yourself in this position that does deserve help. It does deserve help, but you have the mindset where you can just do it yourself because of the things you've been through. You're not going to communicate right. You're not. You're
let,
never
let
going to
me,
communicate right. You're not going to be able to show love because you're going to think the woman that loves you is trying to change you in a way that suits her, but really and truly is for you because they're watching you. They're watching you probably beat yourself down. They're probably watching you be super stressed. You're probably not the man that they thought you were. You know what I'm saying? Just because of what you're going through mentally. And sometimes you got to remove the frustration so that way you could be able to articulate what it is that you're going through so that way they would understand. Because at the end of the day, everybody has to have understanding and it has to be accepted. It has to be.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter if the understanding is different. It doesn't matter if she said go right and you said go left. At the end of the day, you got to understand why she said it and what's her reasons, just like she has to understand yours. But when there's frustration or confusion in any situation, it's never going to come out right. It's never going to resolve the issues or the problems that you're dealing with. It's
I
not.
just I just want to say something real quick, Omega. I know you waiting to say something, and I'm hearing this. I could give you some of my because I'm kind of sort of in the same boat, but it's a little different for me. 5 years ago, about 5 6 years ago, I was crushed in between two cars, and doctor told me I would never walk again.
This is a true story, ladies and gentlemen.
A doctor told me I would never walk again. A year later, I'm walking, I'm running.
God bless.
As I
God bless.
as I as I going through all this, with all that, I end up finding out I had a traumatic brain injury where I end up getting seizures. And now I'm full blown epileptic. Then I had a mini stroke. Then I have a heart problem. So I'm for 5 years I've been going through all this and still going through it. But the one thing I never gave up was my belief. Because as long as I let him take the wheel, I'm still here today. I'm still here today. My wife had to see all this. She still sees all this. But she never gave up
Yeah.
because she loves me. And your wife ain't
And
giving up
I,
because she
and
loves
I can
you.
honestly say that about my wife too. It's like I had to learn how to experience humility because I'm gonna be honest. As a man, there is nothing more humiliating than having to have your wife wipe your rear end because you're in a position where you can't do it.
But that's because she loves you, brother. That's what she's there for. That's why she took those vows. That's
So
why she married you.
yeah, that's where your vows come into play, right? In regards to something like that. Till death do us part. Meaning whatever I gotta do to make sure that you're good, I'm gonna make sure that you're good. And that's what she's doing. She's doing what
And
she's called
use
to
that
do.
to drive the
Bro,
change that you need to make everything better.
King,
You
let me
deserve to live.
let,
You
let me
deserve
say
peace.
this. My wife has endured the most embarrassing things of my life. I couldn't wipe
Mm,
my butt. She had to do it.
yeah,
It's
that's the
that's
same thing
something
for
that
my
we don't.
wife.
That's something that we don't want her to do when we really want to do it ourselves. But you know what?
Gotta
That's
put your
something
pride
that
aside. Gotta put your
Look,
pride aside.
hold up
we-
a second. Hold up a second. Hold up a second. We can all agree that no man wants to feel useless. We can
Right.
all agree that one of the worst feelings in the world for a man is not to be able to fend for yourself at least. That you are at the
Hmm.
mercy at someone else's time. Because
Help.
Hmm.
Welcome in.
what we don't understand is that word submissive comes into play here. Because submissive is not a
Gen-
gender
Gender
role.
role.
This is a human role. And as
Yep.
much as you know you would be there for her, you have to learn how to accept for people to do things for you. Harriet
Hmm.
Tubman said, we can do anything, but we can't do everything. And
Right.
adulting has a high level of acceptance, and you have to start learning how to accept that, my brother, because if something does happen to you, do you want to end up in hospice or in a hospital alone where nobody is there to help you because you didn't allow someone to help you or because you have too much pride and ego? I know it's tough to hear this, but work with me on this. You don't want to be one of these older people when it's time for you to meet the heavens, complaining and talking about the things that you didn't do and how you should have, would have, and could have done that. You don't want to be that guy. It
What they
starts
Right.
say is
now.
nothing worse than a regret-filled coffin.
It starts now, and I know it's difficult, but you're surrounded by men that have been through it. I may make it seem like it's easy sometimes, but I promise you that I've
It's
been through
not.
some shit. All right.
And
I
I'm still going
promised
through.
you that
And
everybody here has been through some shit. And we're not comparing your situation, but for the similarities, my brother, there has to come a time where you allow somebody to do it for you. You understand? Otherwise, you will not be able to be in any type of relationship, even with yourself. So hold up a second. With that being said, I want to take this time to let everybody know that this podcast, this mental health lounge, is for educational purposes only. We do not claim to be professionals in any field. We are here to share ultimate experiences so we can learn from each other. So for the people that are in the comments, can you please tap this and share this to 5 or 10 people? You know, don't be shy. Use your fingers for something else. Yes, we have humor here also. You understand what I'm saying? Tap the screen. I gotta do it. You already know, Teddy. Tap the screen. Share it to 5 or 10 people. Let's get to a number that you guys feel that we
Venus.
deserve. Let's go.
Hey,
And I
and
feel too.
then he
My bad.
said that we're not all in the professional field yet, but I got a news for you guys. All right,
Uh-oh.
I got something for you guys. A lot of people don't know. I signed up for school. I got
Congrats.
accepted. I got accepted for the fall semester for social working and mental health. So in a couple of
Congratulations.
Hercules,
years,
Hercules,
in a
Hercules.
couple of years, I will be licensed to do so. Okay,
congratulations,
just
my brother.
I said that because
I
No,
appreciate
I
y'all.
do not listen. I said that because when you go into a lot of lives, a lot of people like to lead with their professional status and
Professionals.
all their certifications, and I think that
Thank
that
you,
is
thank you,
but
thank you.
ugly. You understand?
That is
Like
but ugly.
there
Yeah.
is a difference between confidence and arrogance. And when you lead with your education, you're being extremely arrogant. You know what I'm saying? Why don't you share your information first before you start putting out all your accolades? Because we're not here to compare education, are we? You understand what I'm saying? So I'm
Right.
not gonna I'm not gonna do that. So I rather have good discussions, and if I'm asked a question about my education, I have no problem saying it. I lead with love, and this is why these lives work because me and this brother, we just don't get up on Saturday mornings to talk about things. We have conversations during the week. This is not easy, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go.
So what I wanted to also, I want to ask Tab, how you feeling right now? It's been what, about an hour and some change we've been on here.
I
Like,
mean, I'm feeling pretty good right now. You know, because I greatly appreciate all the doggone support and everything. You know, man, and even a man in the South down here, support isn't something you really get. People,
right.
it's just you only get expectations. Okay, you know, and then the whole thing when he was saying about the submissiveness, I didn't realize how powerful submission was because as a man, because being submissive to things is having the ability to give up control,
You've done it.
and giving up control is so powerful that means that you're actually the one that's in control by giving up control.
Hmm.
Ooh, say that again
And
for the
you've
people
done
in the
it.
back. Say that
And
again
you've
for
done
the
it.
people in the back that don't understand it.
Mm.
Like, it's a different level of control. It's a different level of
Yeah,
control. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's so deep. It goes so deep.
But
Like,
we
I
do it
love
every
that.
like
day. We
I
I've
do it
love
learned
because
that.
we
that.
be some.
I've learned that the hard way, believe it or not, and that's why I'm here to this day because Hormiga knows who I am,
Hmm.
and Hormiga knows a lot about me. And I can tell you one thing: I'm very powerful, and we all are. We just have to learn how to accept the unwilling to be powerful sometimes.
Yeah,
If
we
we
gotta.
yeah,
You
can't
gotta.
do that,
You gotta.
if we can't do that and put our pride to the side and let our significant other, because you're not just submitting to her, you're submitting to God, because that's how He's working with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's how He works. You know, I came in this panel, and I'm listening, and I'm hearing things, but it's like He woke me up to say, "Hey, go on that panel. You have something to say. You have my word to give." And that's why I'm here, my brother. If I can reach around this and come out this phone and go into yours and give you a hug, brother, that's what I would love to do because right now, we both, you and I, need that hug. I know your struggles. I'm going through every day, but I don't give up. I fight, and I let my wife do what she got to do as a woman. And she tells me every day, I got you, my love. And I'm pretty sure she tells you that. So you know what? Keep doing what you got to do and don't feel low because we're not.
That's
at all.
interesting. That's
I
interesting you say that. You know, one of the strongest parts of being a leader is learning how to relinquish the power, how to share the power. A great part of leadership is knowing when to pass the baton because these people cannot continue to be your understudy, regardless of what relationship that we're talking about, whether it's an intimate relationship, the relationship with your kids,
Yeah,
people at work.
eventually you have to become equals.
You have to
yeah.
learn
But
because if you're not empowering the people around you, you are failing because the whole point is for them to elevate so that you can continue to elevate because you're only as strong as the people that you're surrounded by.
Facts.
That part.
yeah,
And you
but
gotta
peace.
also realize that you're
I
human.
appreciate that hood statement though, because I mean, I had to learn throughout this process how important a simple hug was.
Yeah,
It was
because
just one day I was just
you don't
having a hard
respect
time,
yourself
and my
as a
wife
human
came up
being.
and yeah, she came up and hugged me when I was having a hard time sitting here, and it literally broke me like crazy.
You
She
know
didn't
what's the
say
most
anything; she just hugged me.
you know what's the
He
most
been he been
simplest
he
thing
been
too?
holding for a while. He been holding.
You know what's simple? You know what's even more simpler? And what's more powerful? Are you okay?
Yeah,
You ask a person that's going through a lot, are you okay? I promise you they're gonna break down.
Right there in
I
their
still
tracks.
haven't done
Right
it.
there
yeah.
and
I,
then.
I told you I did the same thing at the hospital. Just the nurse said, "Are you okay?" And it just was just like a waterfall. I couldn't stop it. And even though I know, yes, a stroke will affect you emotionally, affect your emotional abilities. So I understand that there. Even though everything he said about a stroke didn't never apply to me when it was happening,
Hmm.
because I was at work answering calls when I had the stroke. I didn't recognize it because everything that I was trained to ask somebody about a stroke did not apply to me. I didn't
Yeah.
have no slurred speech. I didn't have no droopy face. All I know is I got to go to the restroom. When I came out the restroom, I could barely walk back to the office,
Yeah.
and that's the only way I knew something was going on.
I
We
think I think
underestimate
that
that shit.
happens, man.
I think having the stroke, what the stroke did, um, is made you realize that you're not always in control,
And you're a human.
and you're
You're not
human.
a robot. You're not Superman. Like
Right.
that's the thing that we fail to realize or to explain to people.
Take
And
over,
I've
guys.
been
I'll be
doing
right back.
that for the past couple years.
What's up,
That it's
Papa?
like, hey, I'm human. I'm real. You can
You're right.
feel me. I'm not invisible. I'm not just an object you could take off the shelf. I'm just not a tool to make your business run. I'm human. Hey, I make mistakes. I'm sometimes I fall short. Sometimes I don't understand things when I'm in that spirit of not relinquishing power. You know what I mean? Or asking for help because because we've all as men been placed in situations where we've always had to learn I might as well do it myself or I deal with it myself because sometimes we have faith in people that don't really have the faith in us that we think they do. And sometimes we'll come to them and those will be the people that turn us off to even wanting to express ourselves or be able to say, hey, we need a hug or we need some help. So we go through a lot that conforms us to being this enclosed vessel that just takes everything in and then and then we forget that man, we are ticking time bomb. We you know what I'm saying, we're a shook up 2 liter, and as soon as that top come off, everybody getting sprayed. Every it's going everywhere. And it's like, nah, we shouldn't be doing that. We should be able to, normally pour ourselves out when it's time and be able to put the lid back on without any problems. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Without any issues. You feel me? And man, it's hard, bro. It's
Absolutely,
hard
man.
because
Look,
we've been conditioned.
expression is important. This is one of the reasons why we created this mental health lounge for men, is because in society, and this is an echo in a lot of TikTok streets, men are not allowed to express themselves. So if you're not allowed to express yourself, how could you express yourself if you don't know how and you're not expected to or allowed to? So we're here to tell men you have to express yourself because if you don't, like what King said, it's going to gather up. It's going to compress, and the pressure that's going to come out of that is going to come out in the worst ways possible. So it is important, it's imperative that we learn how to express ourselves, and that's why Teddy told you to write some things, because you got to understand the power of the transference of writing things down on paper, because they say that if you write things down, you're halfway to the solution.
Yeah, no, that's
That's a
true.
form of expression, whether you sing, whether you dance, whether you play music, whether you like to roller skate, whether you like to hug trees, whether you like to paint, whether you like to talk. If you guide yourself away from the things that allow you to express yourself, then you're doing yourself a disservice. And what you're not going to be able to be as productive as you think that you are. And not only that, if you're the type that helps a lot of people and you feel good about it, don't you want to do more? Don't you want to put yourself in the position where you can actually do more, but in an effective way where it doesn't affect you or the important people around you? Think about this. If
Yeah.
relationships weren't meant to be, then we all would be alone.
Right.
We have to have relationships in our life, but it starts with the relationship that you have within yourself, along with that spiritualism. Find that spiritualism, because it's not just about money. It's not just about speaking eloquently and expressing yourself. It's to have some type of energy build in your spiritualism so that you can express yourself the right way. You cannot continue to contain these things. Find ways to get that out of your system, because it's something that you've been holding, and that's a heavy heart.
And I
My
wanna
father
and
used
I
to say something. Hold on,
well
real quick, bro.
go ahead, go ahead.
My father used to say this to me all the time, that when it's your time and they write on your obituary, do you want them to just say he worked? Do you want your obituary when they speak of you to say that all he did was work all the time? All he did was stress himself out. All he did was put himself in situations where he never asked for any help. He never did anything. He never did this. Like, is that how you want it to look? And he used to say this to me when I was younger. But even as I got older, I thought about it like, nah, man, what matters is the memories you leave behind. What matters is the connections that you have with people that make them feel good about themselves. Because at the end of the day, if if I say somebody helped me through a troublesome time, and I tell this to a different person, that person is going to look at the person that helped me as a great person, as a good person,
Hmm.
because I'm spreading the memory of this person that is a good one, and that's how you should live life. Sometimes it puts us in a position we put ourselves in this gerbil wheel of, I don't even know what to call it, society, I guess, and we think we're going to gain something out of it. We think it's going to put us on, the top of the hill where the ocean splashes against the rocks and all this other stuff. And it's like, man, sometimes it's not like that. It's not like that. Sometimes the life we're destined to have is to be a comfortable, to have the nice little comfortable cozy house, and maybe it's meant for our children to have the mansions and the fast cars and things like that. And sometimes you got to remove your mind from the past and the future and put it in the now. Understand where you at right now, understand what you have right now. Hey, it's okay to want more, but make sure that your more has the you know you can't say that you're trying to add to something if you have a subtraction mark in the middle of it. You can't. There's no possible way. So you have to add in where you are right now. Of course, you got to remember where you were, but that doesn't even matter because you're no longer there. So if you're no longer there anymore, why are you thinking about the past? No, you have to think about the now. Hey, the future will drive you insane. They tell you if you think too much about the future, that's damn near insanity. You don't know what the future holds. You'll never figure that shit out because things change every day. It could rain the first couple hours in the morning and probably will make you feel like, oh man, this gonna be a fucked up day. And then boom, the sun comes out. All the water's gone. Everything's back to fucking normal. You feel me? So sometimes we have to realize that we are real. We're real. We're real people. We're real things with real emotions, real thoughts. Really are here, present. Like I'm alive. Like you really have to think about that. sometimes it takes certain things to happen to us to make us realize that. But it's better for you to realize it just the normal way without having to go through something traumatic to do it, because that's the key. Remembering that, hey, I am alive. I'm not a robot. I'm not supposed to always just be killing my back and body and mind for a company that I know for a fact that I'm expendable for. I'm expendable. Nah, let me focus on fixing up my house. Hey, let me focus on fixing my relationship with my kids. Let me focus on fixing my relationship with my wife. Let me focus on that. Hey, fuck this job. Fuck society. What about the things that I've gained that hold, so much value to me? That's dear. Let me manage that. Let me put hard work into that. Let me do that. That's the thing that matters. You know what I mean? Because the world is always going to find a way to throw a wrench in all of your plans. So you got to
Yeah.
always plan for that wrench to be there. You got to always plan for that. You know what I mean? And I know it sounds kind of random, but it's just like, man,
I mean, it's
you
not.
know,
It's really doesn't sound random because it's accurate as fuck. Is what
yeah,
it is. It's super accurate because you got to think about just think about what he's dealing with now. Like you know what I'm
hmm
saying. Everything that he's dealing with now, it's his work life that's causing the confusion because
hmm
that's all he's dealt with is work. You know what I'm saying? All he knows is work. So being the
hmm
fact that he's dealt with just that and haven't really, you know, dabbed into the other part of his life. Yeah, his other part of his life is there, but he's not really experienced it because he's always
yeah,
working.
because
Like, like you know what I'm saying?
sometimes because sometimes we put ourselves in positions where we feel that we pour ourselves so much into one thing that we think that we're not enough for everything else. We're really and truly, if we would have poured ourselves in all the things that we hold dear, it would have been enough. It would
Yeah,
have
that's
been
a comfort zone.
yeah, you know what I mean? We fail to realize that, no,
Oh,
it's
thank you,
my
Queen.
fault. I
Welcome in.
poured too much of myself over here. I
Hmm.
have enough to pour into everything that I hold dear. I have enough energy to gain all the things that I want. You know what I mean? Like, that's why they say, hey, work smart, not hard. Because the
Right.
job is still gonna be the same and the money's still gonna be the same.
Hmm.
It ain't like you know how these jobs do you. You not just because you come in on time and do better than everybody else, they don't give a shit. Some may, but shit, hell, some don't. Oh, cool, you just made us extra money.
Let's
You
also
know, this
let's also
whole
not forget real quick. Hold on. I know you guys are new in the panel, so let me just add something real quick. Let's not forget that anxiety has many facets, and two important facets of anxiety that people keep ignoring is anxiety comes from the future, worrying about the future, what's not here yet, and not being able to enjoy today. And another
hmm
part of anxiety that people overlook, and I need people to pay attention to this. This is very important. Anxiety has a lot to do with the things that you're not doing, the things that you know about that you're not doing, the things that are on your checklist, the thing that you keep talking about. I gotta call this guy. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. That's a
Boss
heavy
lady, welcome in. Good
anxiety.
morning.
You know what I'm saying? So again, I want to welcome in the people that just came in. We got Amir, we got Spoken Truth. I'd like to hear from Bird to see how he's feeling about this right now, and then take over Teddy for the new people that came in.
All right, so thank you for
no,
everybody
well,
that's here right now. I appreciate everybody that's coming in. I appreciate everybody typing the screen, all the gifts that are being dropped. I appreciate everybody that's just sitting here, just taking in the knowledge. I know it's very rare to see a panel full of men not arguing or talking about bullshit. You know what I'm saying, and actually talking about things that actually matter in life. So I appreciate you guys for even being here. If y'all can keep sharing out the live, keep tapping the screen, just keep engaging in the chat because that helps the algorithm push more people into it. All right, um, bro, Tab, how you feeling, man?
I mean, I'm feeling really good with all the support and everything, but I can say that this situation that I'm going through for right now, with this stroke recovery, it taught me a whole lot of stuff. I never was the type of person that ever asked for help, mainly because I feel like I didn't deserve to have to ask for help. It was always I didn't deserve, but you know, it brought me to the point where you're gonna learn to either ask for help or you're gonna suffer the consequences. And I had to
Right.
ask for help. You know, it was always a thing
hmm
about if you fall, you get back up. Well, it took me falling and not being able to get back up and having to rely on somebody else to help me
Thank
get
you for
back
the
up.
lightnings. I appreciate it.
You
Yeah,
know,
because we're not
and the
all
person that
supposed
helped
we're
me
not
get back
supposed
up
to
was
take
a
it
person
all.
I didn't even like. The one that helped me get up when I fell was a person I didn't even like. He was our chief. I wasn't cool with him at all. Didn't get along with him at all. But yeah, he was the one that reached out a hand to help me get back up when I fell and couldn't get up.
You know what
So
it is
it took,
though. You know what it is
yeah,
though. You don't need to like somebody to help them. You,
exactly.
you, you don't
If
you don't
that's
need
a
to
high
like
But
level,
somebody to
see,
that's
help
a
them.
high level of maturity right there.
Yeah, you don't need
but
to
see,
like somebody to help them.
it took, and for him to even do that, knowing that I didn't like him, and he knew I didn't like him, but for him to reach out and help me, that was the first part of the change. Change our understanding after this whole issue happened. I don't
Right.
even like calling it a struggle; just call it an issue or a situation. Because I mean, I hear
What's good,
struggle
Wes?
always sounds so permanent.
Right.
So I always just call it an issue or a setback. Because I'm not down for good. Like I said, I'm 85% back to strength.
Right.
I just gotta get everything from knee down good to go. And yes, I am going back to work. I know that, but I have learned to listen. It's taught me something. I'm gonna start taking
Boss
out
lady,
some
we
more
appreciate all the
time because
gifts.
I'm not gonna work as much. I mean, like
Right.
when a stroke happened, in that 2 week pay period, I put in 143 hours in 2 weeks.
Whew.
That's
I
ridiculous.
put in just yeah. I put
Yeah,
in
nah,
too much time.
don't go straight back to work, bro.
That's almost four
Even when you
shifts.
get your health back together and you feel like you up, no, take some time to relax in that 100%.
Yeah,
Because
I was gonna
But I
say
feel
that.
like
I was gonna say
if
that.
you go back to work, it's gonna take you down to 50%.
But I
That's the
feel like
thing
if
that
I
you
go
don't
back to work,
understand.
that's gonna be a lesson for me to learn and something that I need to learn is how
Nah.
to teach
That's your
myself
personal thing.
how to take
That's
things easy
personal.
a little bit.
Okay,
That's
so
I
this
think
is
I,
personal.
I
this
think
is
Uh,
that needs a little practice. It needs a little
Yeah.
practice. I think you need to put it into play. I think you need to make sure that you're going back when you're ready, right? And can you
Hmm.
ever be 100% ready? But you got to go back with a different mindset and a different disposition. Your
yeah.
purpose should be different now because your health is now involved and it might affect your relationship. So all those things considered. That's all I could say about that.
Yeah, because
um. I,
you
Yeah, cause
already
like
have the thought process of how work goes. So now you already know what comes with work. Now you need time to figure out what's going to come with you, knowing that you've been through this situation, all the things that you've learned, all the things the knowledge that you've gained, all the things, like you said, learning to, just because you don't like somebody doesn't mean that they're not really a supportive person. Understanding the long hours that you work with, being the person that just went through a stroke and had his wife doing certain things, and like, you need time for self. That's why this happened, to separate you from the thing that you was pouring your all into, so that way you can now take it from there and start pouring it in the things that you need to pour it in, and whatever's left, you put it over there, because that's the time that you in. Because you've been spending so many years with just pouring over here and over here, that you wasn't paying that much attention to your health. You wasn't paying that much attention to certain things that may have happened. And I'm not saying that this is you, so to speak, but these are some of the things that occur when people devote themselves to certain things that just don't really have that good of an outcome. You know
so
what I
my
mean?
the
Like,
advice.
only benefit of devoting so much time to my job was the only benefit it actually came with was financial. Yes, I've been out of
hmm
work 7 months. I ain't had to work for 7 months and all the bills and everything is still taken care of in the house. It was only a financial benefit. I ain't had to worry about getting no unemployment or nothing at all because I still get a paycheck from the job every doggone 2 weeks because
hmm
based on the vacation and
So all the work
annual
that
time
all
stuff
the
I
time
have.
that you put in, all the
Yeah, hell
time that you
yeah,
put
man.
in.
Give yourself,
Hey,
man, get your health up. Go take your wife, go have a week vacation somewhere, have a good time, then think about fucking work. Then think about
Yeah,
that shit, because it's
do
not
some.
going
So
nowhere.
my advice to you, right, being the fact that you and your wife have not spent the time that's needed to kind of elevate your marriage the way that it should be, right? When you get to 100% physically, because you still got to work on the mental. You're never going to be at 100%. You could be 100% physically, but mentally you're not there yet. It's for you to be going back to work and trying to figure things out, because you still have to figure out your home situation. You still have to figure that out. You'll be good 100% to go to work. That's cool and dandy. That's fine. But your mental and the stability of your relationship is still hanging in the balance. You know what I'm saying?
That's the word right there.
At the end of the day. So what my advice to you is, once you get 100% and you're able to physically move around and maneuver, do something with your wife, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's really that simple. Just go on a dinner date. Go on vacation, like King said. Take her somewhere special. You know what I'm saying? Do something for you guys that's not related to work.
And involving something that's only related to you two guys. You understand what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's
Like
it.
do that. That's
Hey, do you?
perfect. Listen, can we go to, we got Spoken Truth and we got Amir. Can we just go down the line and give a chance for Spoken Truth and then Amir, and then we'll hear from Beast because we haven't heard from him in a while. And I know King has a lot of positive stuff to say, so we want to give them a chance so we can wrap
Go
it
ahead.
back up. Spoken
Go
Truth.
for it.
Good morning, everybody.
Good
Good
morning.
morning, bro.
How y'all doing today?
Amazing.
Fantastic.
Pretty
Feeling
good.
good?
Amazing.
Yo, yo.
That's what I like
Thank
to
you for
hear.
asking. How
14.
you doing?
Yo, I don't know if y'all remember me
I remember
from about a year ago.
from the
I
last
I've
with
been trying to
we
my
we
find y'all
we,
old
too.
we
fiance, my
I
old
definitely
couldn't
do.
find
fiance.
you.
We
Oh, I
definitely do.
remember.
But yeah, man, I had to uplift myself, man. I had to pick myself up off the ground, dust myself off. I mean, I had to sit myself down for a year. I was going through a lot of anxiety. You know, I realized a lot of things that I possibly done wrong, which is not me police toning myself, not me putting the correct terminology in the sentences when I was talking to my individual, possibly not hearing her. I was overworking, mind you. If you guys remember, I did take a
I
death,
remember.
unaliving in my family, which
Hmm.
kind of kicked me off to work even more harder,
Hmm.
as well as me having a new
I
child.
remember. I remember. It was
I had
back
a
on the
new
other
child.
page.
Yeah, I went crazy. I had a new child. I started working 7 days out the week, was barely
Hmm.
home, and it probably put a load on her because, mind you, I got my own 8-year-old. She got her own 12-year-old. Then we had a newest child, but
Right.
I did sacrifice the 2 days in the weekends before my brother passed to stay home and try to engage with them and go out to the park and go to museums and do these things. But I also failed to realize that I wasn't giving her them hugs. I wasn't kissing on her. I would ask her if she's okay, she hungry, what she want to eat, those questions, but I never really just out of nowhere gave her the hug that she deserved, and it kind of was a reason because in the beginning I was, but the moment she disrespected me, which when I came to her about a certain thing, I possibly said it in a uprising tone. I didn't say it not in a yelling, screaming, but I said it in a real manly, masculine tone that she probably disagreed with because of how she was raised and how she was talked to as a child. So it possibly triggered something in her. But
Hmm.
me sitting down for this year and 7 months, I came to a realization of a lot of things that hinder me and that help me grow right now into this person I am. And I did get access back to my son without the courts, just me acknowledging how she
What's up,
felt
man?
on my
That's
son,
great.
No, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. You go ahead. We're
regarding
listening.
how she felt. I don't know. I basically acknowledged how she felt and possibly all the things I did wrong, which helped me get access back to my son without going through the courts. We still had the court situation in motion. We just came up to an agreement. But sometimes we want stuff right then and there. Sometimes we focus too much on the future and not focusing on the present and what's in front of us. And yeah, it causes anxiety because, that's just like a manly nature. The future got to be profound. It got to be set up. It got to be like this, 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 this. But we be so far in the future, we're not in the present month or the present day that we're in.
It's not connecting him. I'm gonna drop him down. It
So
wasn't connecting him.
it's like I had to really learn. My childhood experiences really affected me as an adult creating this family. And
Hmm.
I'm just happy I was able to sit myself down and really figure it out through you guys' help, King 14 help. You know, I always go to my older individuals, men that look like they up to something, they're doing something, they're positive, and
Okay.
I asked them advice, and you guys came through. You guys, you guys that run the panel actually came through for me at my worst. Y'all hurt me at my worst. I was even talking or communicating like this. I didn't feel like this. And all this time, boom, I'm here. I feel better. I did the work. No matter if it was checking into therapy or just talking to men like you. And I feel like men at my age bracket and younger should seek mentorship, even though that's what I always did. But I didn't have an idea mentorship would help me get through this. I just did it. You know, I need to
Right.
talk to older men. I need to surround myself with older men, no matter if it's on the phone, no matter if we texting, because y'all insight, y'all, even before y'all started letting me speak, everything y'all said to Bird is definitely true. It's profound. Everything y'all said and everything y'all said, I had to sit down and reevaluate that and have conversations with myself and God and really to clear my mental and brain fog. So the next thing I'm working on is amending this relationship with my son's mom. Yeah, it's still rocky road, but like I said, like you only can give it time. I can only give it time. You know,
That's all you
in the
can
near
do.
future, she'll see and she'll want to communicate with me. But we can't. We try to force too much as men. We want now, and we try to work hard towards it. But little do we know, we living by society means and stigmas, and it's kind of it be tearing us up in the inside.
Hmm.
So we gotta live by our own accord, our own meaning, our own purpose. We can't live up with society standards reflect on us because it's just gonna bring us in a brain fog. And we like the relationship in my eyes now, relationship is balanced. I should be able to come to my woman and listen, I'm thinking about moving here and this is the community and this is how safe it is and the schools is here and have a input and even do research to help us figure out what's the next best move.
That's
So I feel
beautiful.
like it should be a balance, and that's just me taking lead. So thank you, man. Yeah,
Bro, let me
So
I
tell you
appreciate
something.
y'all.
Hold on. Let this be a testimony. Your demeanor and your energy is so different from last year.
I was
It
gonna
is
say
it
that.
is absolutely you giving me goosebumps because that helps us to realize that what we're doing here has a goddamn purpose. You understand what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
bro had a
So
Yes,
lot
sir.
going on.
Yeah.
he had a lot going on, and his demeanor is not the same it was at all. His energy, his soft spoken words, the word choice that he is using, he is not the same person he was 1 year ago.
Yeah,
If
that's
you
crazy.
guys,
I
It
remember.
what, I
it
remember. I
shows how
remember
much power
clearly.
there is. It
I
shows how
remember.
much power there is where you don't have to have a couch. They only you got a group of strong black men coming together, helping each other through a situation. You know,
Like,
you don't have to rely on certain types of other people. You got this community of black men coming together with each of us having our own situations that we're going through and helping walk each other through it.
you know what's
That is
crazy?
that's beautiful.
I remember that day clear as day. You were so angry, bro. Like you came in so angry and so confused.
He came in hot.
He did. He came in hot, and I'm glad that didn't turn you away. I'm glad that didn't turn you away because we've had situations where we have to turn people away because they just wasn't willing to
They're not
learn.
ready. They're
They
not ready. You
wasn't
can't
ready.
coach if you're not coachable. You know what I'm
You
saying?
know what I'm saying? So I'm proud of you, bro. I'm proud of
Let's
you.
give
I'm
him a
proud.
clap, yo. Let's give him
You
a
know what I'm
clap, man.
saying? I'm proud of you.
For real.
I'm so proud of you,
And the
bro. Like
fact you did it
Definitely
yourself,
achievement,
the
man.
fact you did it yourself is the most beautiful part because that's the thing that most can't do. When you can figure yourself out, when you can take a hot that much accountability and say, "Nah, I'm the one tripping." Everybody else can be tripping too, but I'm in control of me and I'm tripping. This is not who I want to see in the mirror every day. This is
But
not
most
what I
definitely.
what I say, I want to be. So of course, like man, when you do the work yourself, it's a lot harder, but it also does something to you that makes you a lot stronger.
Let's go with the team bracelets. Thank you.
You
That's
know what I
beautiful.
mean?
Thank
That
you for
right
your
I
there.
had
We
testimony, my
also
brother.
God's work,
That right
man.
there.
Y'all doing God's work, and I appreciate y'all even let me up that time in need. Like, I'm even getting emotional right now. Like my eyes is watering. I'm
Me
about to
too.
go
My eyes is over
outside,
And
here
but
tearing up.
I
and
can't
you
even
know
lie.
what?
Like
You know you're in a safe space, so if that's what you feel you have to do, ain't nobody gonna frown upon it. If anything, I
Let
would
it
frown
out, man.
upon you if you put a facade and you didn't keep it real. So carry on, my brother. Carry on.
nah,
Listen,
it's like
you got my eyes tearing up over here because I'm like, I remember,
I feel like jumping out the window right now.
yeah,
I
because I
felt so
remember
many
it
I'm
clear
outlets.
as
tearing up, but
day.
I had a stroke, so
It's
I
hard to
cry
even
over every
explain.
damn
Like
thing
I
right
look
now.
for so many outlets, so many people to just listen to me and just give me the best advice as possible. Like so many, you feel me? And like I said, 14 King 14. You know, I just bumped with him just like on my For You page, and his video came through, and his video aligned with me. Then I came across you guys' panel. You guys let me up, and then the gems that y'all dropped with me. I mean, first and foremost, y'all listen to me before y'all even try to kick me down or even tell me anything. You know, it wasn't gonna be negative, but you gotta listen to a person in order for you to give them the best type of feedback possible. If you don't listen, then you just giving them solutions that's not even applicable to their situation. So when y'all let me up, I just let a whole bird off my shoulder, and then what y'all told me, yeah, you gotta take some time to yourself. I believe you told me to get a therapist. You told me to go to the gym and do a lot of self care and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
I did it,
Which
and
at the same time, we gotta give props to the host and the co-host here because the simple fact that they let you up that day,
yeah, that's what I'm
honestly, from
saying. They basically doing
what I've
God's
seen in my
work.
career, it possibly stopped some other stuff from happening in your life. You know, some other bad stuff from happening.
hmm
So by them giving you the opportunity to listen to you, probably saved some lives also.
Yo, 14, what I
Or if
said.
not some other people's lives, they probably saved your life
14, what
at
I
the
said.
most.
What I wrote you in the inbox. Then I say I was at my edge. I was ready to crash out.
Yeah.
Like I was
Mm-hmm.
homeless. I ain't have nothing. I got a whole
Yeah.
brand new apartment. You understand? Like I
Mm-hmm.
lost my car, I lost my brother, I lost my apartment, I
Man,
lost my
man, man.
finances, and
I'm gonna say this, man, and I
I'm
know
back.
a lot of people have their own spiritual journeys and things like that, but I'm a person that believe all is all. At the end of the day, sometimes the troubling times we go through is really what we ask for, because there is nothing in life that doesn't come without character development. You understand? Like the man that you are right now, this second, all those things that you've been through was character development. For you to say that you love yourself right now, you love the person that you are, and the person you look in the mirror makes you happy. So at the end of the day, you got to understand, like I tell people, life is about balance. Life is this, there is no escaping. Hey, you know what? In a beautiful day outside having a picnic, maybe, guess what? You get stung by a bee. That's that little black dot inside of that positivity side. Hey, guess what? You can have a dark life. Every day of your life could be dark. But guess what? That one person said, hey, I see something in you. Let me give you an opportunity. That's that little light in that darkness. You know what I mean? There is no escaping. And sometimes, like I said, the things that we ask for are going to come with trouble in time, because you have to be a certain particular type of person to even obtain or have or be the way you say that you want to be. You know what I mean? So, and sometimes it sucks. Sometimes it's not the right, sometimes things happen to us that we didn't want to happen. You know what I mean? Like I lost my grandmother. When I lost my grandmother, that made me the man that I am now, because I had to do things. I had to do unspeakable things, and I ain't gonna say unspeakable, but things that I didn't know I would be able to do, that I had the mental or the physical strength to be able to do. Yes, I
Right.
lost my grandmother, but guess what? All the things that she told me, showed me, and things that she mentioned was for this moment, was for this moment, for me to be able to have the strength to be able to say, because she passed away at home, and not just at home in her bed, like on the couch watching television. You know what I mean? And having to deal with frantic family members that don't know what to do, don't know who to call, don't know how to set nothing up, don't know what insurance people to call, I'm fresh off work and I'm walking in the house and my grandmother's passed away on the couch. And in that split second and in that moment, I understood that me crying and me breaking down is not something that everybody around me needs. But it wasn't because of me, it was because this woman already had seen certain things in me because she was teaching me shit. She was showing me things. You know what I mean? And sometimes the end, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, that was traumatic for me, but it taught me so many things that put
What's
me in a
good, Chevy?
position where I feel like I'm a better man. You know what I mean? And I'm only saying that because, man, sometimes things happen that we don't want to happen. But at the end of the
Yeah.
road, at the end of that situation, are you a better man? Are you
That,
better
that
from this?
those are very good questions to ask. And I would ask Bird how. Remember when we talked about that? Not a lot of people come and pat you in the back for the
Hmm.
excellent job that you're
Yeah.
doing. Look what just happened. This doesn't happen all the time when a person can come a year later and acknowledge that what
Yeah.
we're doing actually worked. A big part of that is learning how to accept a compliment because we shy away when people say, "Hey, good job." Oh, that's just this, that's just that. That's maturing is a big part of this. Balance is the key. Everything in moderation, even moderation. You don't have to moderate everything. Some things are good just the way they are. If it ain't broken, don't fix it.
Yeah.
So
Because
let's bring in
the
let's
hard
bring in.
times are necessary.
Oh, that's what challenges your comfort zone. You understand? Like if your comfort zone is not being challenged, then you're not growing and you're not
We
changing.
love you
That's
too,
that
bro.
that that's the way I'm
Honestly.
looking at it. Amir, let's go to Amir real quick. He's been holding patiently down there.
I'm here, man. Welcome in, bro. Welcome in for the first time, man.
Peace and love to everyone on the panel, those that I'm familiar with, and to the host. Peace and love, brother. I've been on probably about an hour now listening to you, and I just appreciate your energy, man. I'm one of them old school cats, you know what I'm saying, 50
I
plus.
appreciate
So whenever I see a young brother, young, strong soldier, bull like yourself up here talking that good stuff, man, get me excited, bro. So I just appreciate, I'm on the West Coast, so I appreciate y'all welcoming my day in on a
of
good
course.
note. Omega, you know, he is my guy. Again, everybody in the comments that know me, but man, host, man, I appreciate you, man. It takes a lot of courage to take on something like this. And then I also heard you say you were studying to get your credentials. And man, that's
Hmm.
cold. That's cold as ice, bro. We need more like you. So I just want to inspire you and send you that energy, man.
I
That's
appreciate
what
that.
we got to do, man. We just got to speak the truth and put power to it with encouragement. And I'll just add my little 2 cents, man. You guys been on fire this morning, man. I've been hearing some real positive and some moving stuff, man. These testimonies. What I was going to say is, do you guys see the power in testimony? I mean, we try to make life so complicated, but I don't want to get religious, but truth goes across all
Go for it.
spectrums.
Go for it. Go
But
for it. Go
this
for it.
the coldest part that I've learned in my 50 plus. It's not the religion that gets people turned off. It's the lack of knowledge because we suffer from that. So once we get the truth, it don't matter what religion we at, the truth is going to cross all those realms, right? So this is what we all can relate
Hmm.
on. That testimony, our creator wants us to give him acknowledgement and then share your experience so that everybody can relate it back to, you know what I'm saying? The truth, the acknowledgement, who started this all. So that's what I just
Right.
try to do, man. I try to stay in a meditative mindset, a prayer state, a
Thank you for the
prayerful
hand
state of
clap, brother.
mindset, because it's a spiritual world we facing, guys. So when we're dealing with the physical, let's remember what Brother King said. It's balance in life. So let's also remember the mental. So let's not put too much energy in our physical because that's where we lose. You know what I'm saying? When we get unbalanced, when we out of alignment with our creator. So back to that testimony though
What's
thing,
up,
man.
boss
You know what I'm
lady?
saying? If we could just testify and inspire
Mama
through that,
G.
it's amazing the power of it. Let me ask you guys a quick question. Quick
Sure.
question, and then I'm a land. I'll say this quick stanza from this poem. It's a sentence, and then I'm gonna ask this question. The poem is "If" by Rudyard Kipling. I'm sure some of y'all intelligent mind brothers have heard it or read it,
Yeah.
ladies
Hmm.
as well. But it's a stanza where it talks about if you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs, and this is the coldest part, and blaming it on you. If you can keep your head when everybody around you is losing their mind, and the cold part is they gonna blame it on you. You the reason. See, we come on with a lot of responsibility, fellas, as men, because we are the leaders. We're the fathers of civilization. So whenever we're not meeting up to our standards, If no one else, God is going to tug at your heart. And if you're not listening, then He's going to sit your ass down. And
Amen.
Brother Bird, I'm so glad you're still here, brother. God bless you. And I heard someone say that God was talking to you, and I sure am glad you listening. I hear you talking about the work you want to do. I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna stop because I know I talk long, but I want to stay involved with the conversation because I want to say something else to Brother Bird. But this is the question I want to
Yeah.
ask y'all. This is the question I want to ask y'all. Then I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna let everybody else build. If you knew, because we beat ourselves up so much and we say, wow, man, I ain't did what I was supposed to do. I'm not quite the man that God or the Creator wanted me to be. My wife wants me to be, my kids. And you beat yourself up, and that don't happen. That don't help. And for those
Right.
that don't beat ourselves up, that we're so optimistic, but we feel like, man, all this work that I'm doing and don't seem like it's reaching enough
Welcome in,
people.
everybody.
This is what I'll say. If you knew from your testimony alone, or from your walk of life, from how you've been walking, or from your testimony alone, if you knew that you saved someone from unaliving themselves, wouldn't you feel accomplished? I know I would. I mean, if someone said, I know I saved someone when I was young. I saved a young lady from drowning. I felt, man, I feel great about that to this day. So if you knew just from your testimony that you saved someone's life, wouldn't that be inspiring? So we got to just remember the power of testimony because it happens every day. Something all of you have said has affected someone that is going to change the course of their life for the better. And we think about that. That's a question, but y'all know the rhetorical
That's that's
answer.
that's
Yes.
that's a good.
So
That
I'm going to
is a
share that
good
with you.
question.
I'm going to share that with you, young counselor.
I'm gonna
Host,
let
I
you. I'll
appreciate
go
you, and I'm
first
going
on
to
that
land.
question. I'll
Yeah.
go first on that question. So what? April. I want to say what the second week, the second Saturday of April is our third anniversary doing this. Um, I've had conversations off this app with certain individuals that, when they originally came up, were not in the best headspace. Okay, they knew that they weren't in the best headspace, but they were willing to come up and speak about what they had going on because they needed the help. They needed the guidance, but they didn't feel comfortable enough to find a licensed coach, therapist, counselor, whatever you want to call it, in order to find that guidance. Now, the difference between what we do here and what they do in the office is we speak on personal experience. They don't factor that in, right? They have the education, they have the knowledge, they have the book smarts, but they miss the key point in mental health is personal experience. That's the key point that's missing. You can learn all you can learn about mental health and be as educated in the field as possible. But without personal experience, you have nothing. You have nothing. Them books go out the door if you don't have personal experience. Period, point blank. That's the big difference between what we do on this podcast versus any other mental health podcast that you see on TikTok. And yes, I'm throwing shade because I've seen people try to mimic what we try to do and trigger other individuals. And I get messages from the individuals that's been in my life saying that they've been triggered because they've been into another live that was somebody trying to do what we do here, and it failed terribly with what happened. And for the people that did experience that, I do apologize, right? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't ever want anybody that jump here and get the comfortability that they have and feel that they can speak on what they speak on and not get judged to run into another live where they claim that they're doing what we're doing here, and you end up getting either triggered, attacked, or judged based on the things that you're speaking on. You know what I'm saying? And I do
Yeah.
apologize that you experienced that because I don't want that to be a thing, right?
Hmm. It's a lot of
Oh,
it's a lot of people out here, man, that are they're not looking to heal people for their own journey. They're looking to heal people for them to follow theirs.
Good morning,
You know what
Gator.
I mean?
Welcome in, bro.
This is what most what most people do. They, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, and it's not no offense to nobody, but it's just like how they do with religion, not the religion itself, but how they try to force you to think that the way that you're supposed to live is supposed to be a particular way. And I say that shit all the time that, man, some of us are not meant to be warriors. Some of us are not meant to be potterers or, blacksmiths. But hey, somebody got to be the blacksmith. Somebody got to be the warrior. Somebody got to make the pots, the rugs. And that doesn't mean that you're any different as a man
Unless
because you're not the warrior. But
it doesn't
some,
make you any less important.
yeah, and I've noticed that a lot of these, when they do speak about men, it's not to help, it's to say, hey, this is, hey, over here you got to be a warrior, and it's like, well, but I'm not, and it's like, oh, you should be, and it's like, no, I shouldn't be. I should be a blacksmith. Like that's how I feel. What's wrong with me expressing how a black man's everyday, a blacksmith's everyday life goes? You know
Right.
what I mean? Like, what's
Yeah.
wrong with that? And that's what you run
If you want
into.
to be the cook, you should be able to be the cook. Cause guess what?
Mm-hmm.
The warriors and the leaders and the ones on the front line need something to damn eat sometime.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So
all
you're
they
just as
say the
important as
big
the doggone
circle of
battalion.
life.
Well,
Yeah, but the
staying in
big
your lane, right? Staying in your lane is a very
hmm
important skill. Learning how to stay in your lane. I tell my daughter all the time, and I repeat this every Saturday. I tell my daughter, my love, before you put your own twist to something or your own touch to something, learn how to do it right first. And then you can veer
hmm
off. You know what I'm saying? You cannot walk before you crawl, right? Let's keep it basic, right? So why not go through the steps so that you don't miss nothing, and then you might get to a point where it doesn't need anything at all. It's okay just the way it is. And we as men need to start realizing that we do too much
hmm
sometimes, and that's where the
Mm-hmm.
hmm
balance comes in. What does balance mean, ladies and gentlemen? I'll give you the simple definition of balance. Balance is knowing when you're doing too much or not enough.
And the true saying to all of it is practice what you preach.
That
Practice what
part.
And,
you
and with
preach.
that being said, Beast, go ahead, jump in there real quick because you're on the rotation after Amir. What do you think about what's going on in all this?
I could tell you right now off of everything that I've heard so far that this room is full of positive vibes, man. Like everybody has a testimony, right? Everybody's gone through things in life that's hard to swallow and go through. But we all have a learning experience. We all have something we have to learn because nobody's perfect. We all gonna make mistakes that we don't want to endure. And
hmm
as long as you're positive, that's all that matters. Because
Right.
if you're
hmm
thinking negative, you're gonna get negative.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
See,
Words are powerful.
very powerful. And
Words
my
are powerful.
grandmother taught me that the tongue.
And as men, we got to understand that the information that we gain out here in the world is only information until we give it to somebody else.
Right.
Once we
So
give it to somebody else, it becomes knowledge.
Mm.
And all of us must be knowledgeable of our realities as men. All of us have different realities, sure, but am I exempt from having a stroke? No. Am I exempt for having something traumatic happen to me? No. So it is in our it we like, because that's the thing that they don't teach us is our togetherness. It's
and I can
our
say
ability to teach each other. You know what I mean? To be able to say, hey, you know how to make this, but I know how to make this. Let me show you this, you show me that. So now, you know what I'm saying? It's like what's the saying? Steel sharpens steel or something like that.
Iron,
Iron
iron,
sharp.
iron,
Iron
iron.
sharpen iron.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Iron, yeah, but it's still metal. Both things are metal.
Well,
Two different materials, but
Each
still.
one teach one, man. Each one
Yeah.
teach one.
here's
That's
here's the deal. Here's the deal with that. Here's the deal with that. We have to also be able to assess and evaluate things on the basis of equity. If we're gonna have a
hmm
conversation, if we're saying the same thing, all we're doing is acknowledging what we already know. But in order to exchange information, there has to be something that you can take away from it.
no, you're
There
right,
has to
good.
be
You're good,
something you
Amir.
can grow from, something that you
right.
can utilize in your daily activities. I love conversation. I mean, that's an understatement, right? Because I like to talk. I love to talk, but what I talk about and who I talk to is very important to me. Because I'm not going to have fluffy conversations all day about things that don't go anywhere. There has to be
Right.
conversations to help us develop a sense of understanding and clarity. And I believe that's what we all want. We all want answers to these questions. We all want clarity, and we can find it by practicing this balance between us.
You know
And you
what's
know,
good? You know what's good about what we do here, especially with me going into the field, because eventually I'm gonna have to do a thesis. I'm gonna have to do these things so that way they can understand why I wanted to jump into this field. And I can use this podcast as truth to why I want to do what I want to do. Because we create not only do we create a safe environment, but the topics that we choose to talk about are things that we normally on a daily basis we don't talk about. We don't talk about trauma. We don't talk about PTSD. We don't talk about these things. We kind of push it under the rug and ignore the fact that it's damaging the world as a whole, and we ignore it. You know what I'm saying? So when we have these topics in here, we always put a claimer in the beginning that 9 out of 10 times it's going to be a triggering kind of conversation because it's something that we don't talk about on a daily basis. We may talk about it amongst, probably our peers off the app, but how many conversations do you walk into on a live where they're talking about trauma, PTSD, childhood trauma, shadow working? Where do you hear these conversations? You don't hear these conversations ever.
Uh,
But
Like
who's equipped? But who's equipped to have these conversations except the
I,
people that actually come with the right intentions and some education behind it? In order for you to facilitate this type of environment, you have to have some experience and be surrounded with people that want the same thing. It's a consensus that we're trying to reach together as Latino and Black men. There's a high level of expectation from us before we even get started. That from the day we born, we are expected to be a certain image. We are expected to have these
thank y'all
things,
for the
and we're
gifts.
and we're not even supposed to talk about it. So this is why this space is important for people to come in and understand. Most of the problems with these other conversations is that they only give you half-ass information. They don't give you the whole truth. They don't look for solutions. They frown upon people. They attack people, and what they don't do is give you complete information. You leave out of there with some strength, but then somewhere along the line, it falls short of what you're supposed to do because they don't give you the entire information.
So Earl, I agree with you, bro. What you wrote in the chat, like there's not any. When you have these conversations, it can go left. It will go left because we don't talk about it enough.
That's right.
It's gonna go left because we don't talk about it enough.
now
Three
this,
If
hours is
if
not
if
enough. Look, we're 3 hours here. That's not enough. We could do this for 12 hours and still
we,
still have the same problems the next day.
you know what I'm
because
saying,
it's
and
not a
that's the
normal thing. It needs to be as normal as putting sugar in grits.
And a lot of men is
yep.
afraid to speak how they feel because of the suppression majority of us went through. So a lot of us is afraid to come
What's
up
up,
and express
Pitmaster?
ourselves on a panel
Mr. Pit
or
Boss in the
to
building.
people. And because
Appreciate you,
a
bro.
couple of these panels, they try to do what you guys do, but they don't do it in the sincereness. They don't do it with the realness, and they'll sit there and say, "Oh, you ain't taking accountability. You ain't victim blaming," but you gotta allow somebody to flow and get that stuff off their chest before they start taking accountability. Now, if you reject
Yeah.
them from letting it off their checks, you're gonna end up pushing them with another scar. So I got a testimony
Nah.
this year as well. I moved into my apartment in July. I met another individual. He's 24, um, at work, and he was. I felt him. I ain't feel him out, but I asked him what he had going on. He was like, I'm going through something with my girl. She got a studio. I've been staying there lately. She made me leave, and now I'm bouncing from my mom's crib, and I'm trying to figure it out. So I gave him the shelter information. I didn't give him the information. I told him about my testimony, what I just did. I was like, yeah, I just
Hmm.
moved into my apartment in July. It took me 9 months. If you got to do what you got to do, you got to do what you got to do. But you're young. Put yourself in a greater perspective than I was at 24. You ain't got no children. You good. She don't want you there. Go and get your own. Don't be like me and try to wiggle your way back in and chase The next thing you know, you have a child with this individual, and y'all not compatible to be together for this child, and you're gonna have to go through that system and mentally damage at whatever age you produce this child. So work on yourself and build yourself. He just texted me Wednesday. D, I got the apartment, D. Thank you so much, D. Even in the beginning of his journey, he was like, oh, I can't
I
do
had
this.
to
I'm
work on
about to
that.
leave. I'm about to get out. I can't do this. I'm like, bro, it's all for a greater meaning. Sit yourself down, talk to yourself, do your shadow work, heal, because he was telling me about, he basically went through the same thing I've been through as a child, things of that nature. I was like, man, get to know yourself, do stuff that you like to do. Sit yourself down and think about everything you done been through and how you could tweak it and make you a better person off of that, because we all experience the same thing, but until we really realize what we experience, we're never gonna really grow as men. So he hit me up. He's like, I've been to therapy. I was doing therapy. I got my apartment now, D. I listened to you. You never gave up on me, and I wasn't hard on him, just like you guys wasn't hard on me. I was easy. Anytime he needed me or he needed to talk, it was even 2 nights he wanted to come by here and just to crash because something happened in the shelter where they was fighting. So he left like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. He didn't get to the Bronx till about 6. We had to go to work 2 hours, 3 hours from 6. So I was like, yeah, you might as well just come here and sleep for a little bit. Then we'll go to work type thing. But I went to therapy. You know what struck me at therapy? And I went to therapy for 2 months. She didn't remember what I did that weekend. You know, I told her, oh yeah, I'm getting my sons this weekend and things of that nature. So I went back Monday, and she didn't recall what we spoke about the following week. So it didn't make me feel like she was really, and granted, they see a lot of clients and stuff, but you
Right.
signed
Coach
up
Shiv
for
will
this
come in.
position, you gotta really stand 10 toes in this position. Like, you gotta be all the way
Oh
with this
yeah, for
position.
sure.
If you gotta take notes, take notes. Oh, Dimitri's coming in. So I remember this weekend, he said he was chilling, hanging out with his sons. He was gonna get his sons, hang out with his sons, and take them out. I went to see her Monday. She didn't even know where to start off. The only thing she asked
That's
me,
a
she asked
problem.
me how I was feeling, but she ain't say, "Oh, what did you do this weekend? Did you get to get your kids?" And you know what I mean? How did you feel
What's
about
good,
this?
Harmony, bro?
She didn't even remember, but I didn't allow it to affect me. I just knew what I had to do. I was like, all right, not everybody could help us either. We got to help
Yeah.
ourselves until we take the initiative to want to help ourselves and be accountable for even if we didn't do wrong. It's something we
hmm
did that wasn't right. So yeah, man,
Mi-
you guys is
mi-
profoundly. I'm about to get up and go get me some breakfast. Dang, I just shared a lot
Mr.
for me.
Truth, Mr. Truth, before you
Yes.
disappear, I want to share something with you on how spiritual essence works. You said, I don't think you was here from the beginning, right? Were you in the comments from the beginning of the show at 9 in the morning?
Nah, I was in from 10:30.
All right, watch how this works. Watch how this works. Mr. Host over here, right,
Mm-hmm.
said that there's a word that we're going to touch on at the end of this show, which is coming up in a few seconds, right? You said
hmm
accountability twice. You said accountability 2 times in what you was explaining. And this is how spiritual essence works. Because we're about to tap into that. You know what I'm saying? The word accountability. And I would suggest that people put on their helmets and their seatbelts for this, because a lot of people are not gonna like this, but it is what it is. So I want for the last 2 minutes before 11:30, I will stop bothering everybody if we could just get to 50K. Can we get to 50K likes? Can we take a moment just to digress, because everybody here has given testimony. Everyone here has shared how they feel. Everybody here is educated. Everybody here is experienced. So can we just take 1 minute? Look, 1 minute and power tap the screen. Everybody, look how easy it is. Tap the screen. Can we get to 50K? Because the host is about to open a door that people are not ready for.
Some power tap while you clutching your pearls.
And while we're power tapping, I just wanted to give you guys just some news. You guys did hear that I did sign up for school. I will be going to school for social working in the mental health field, but also we have created a web page for Monumental. So a web page has been created where we will be, well, all my platforms for this particular live and this podcast will be streamlined all over social
Please.
media. So it's going to be on YouTube, it's going to be on Instagram, it's going to be on Facebook. It's gonna be on here because I created a page on here as well for just the lives itself and the stitchings and the snippets of the lives. So everything that's it's gonna be broadcast all over. Okay. Now, for I know a lot of people don't really know what the subscriptions are for. We don't. So I have an incentive for my subscription for all the people that follow my subscription or subscribe to me. The most active the subscription or subscriber to this live will be getting either a free T-shirt, free hoodie, free hat with the Monumental logo on it. On top of that, I will give you a one-on-one with me as well, just to kind of like figure out, how me and Hormiga kind of guide you into certain things if he wants to be a part of it, and just kind of guide you into like just trying to give yourself some tools on how to figure out where to start with your healing. You know what I'm saying? Because with us both having the experience of going through our own healing journeys, we've learned enough to be able to assist you at least with the starting process. You know what I'm saying? So if you guys want to hit the subscription's $2.99. It's not a lot. You get and you gain a lot from that $2.99 just by having access to us off the app. So if you guys want to head and subscribe, go ahead and subscribe. We'll start the giveaways next month. Towards the end of the month, obviously, and whoever's the most accurate the most engaged subscriber within the Saturdays that we go live will be getting that time with us, and as well as some free merch. So
Yes, so there is incentives to being subscription. It's not just like it's going to somebody's pocket. A lot of this stuff goes back into the show or into everything else that's growing. So, without further ado, dun, 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 I need everybody to clean their palates, whether it's
oh
eating some
Lord.
coffee grinds or whether you have to drink some green tea or swallow your own vomit, whatever it is that you need to do in order to get ready for what's about to happen. After the host explains his view on this, I'm going to go, and then everybody's welcome in order to give their piece on this. Again, get ready, pray, USA, get your beads, do whatever it is that you need to do because we're about to get crazy. Let's go, host.
All right, so I love this topic. I really do. You know why I love this topic so much? Before I even get into it, there's a reason why I love this topic, and I actually don't mind going past 12 o'clock for this because I've experienced personally being attacked, okay, for somebody not taking accountability for the shit that they've done. Me, I've been attacked personally for something that somebody else didn't take accountability for. Now think about like let that sink in for a little bit. Somebody not taking accountability for their own actions, and you get attacked for their actions. Like 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 can we like take that in real quick? Like let that sink in. How many of us have experienced that, right? Like how
Me,
many of us have experienced
me.
being
I
attacked, being
have a
attacked,
child with a person like this.
right? So be like let's think about that for a second. Men and women, all of us, right? Let's think about that. Being attacked for somebody that didn't take accountability for the bullshit that they caused.
Well, that's
Oh,
Me, because
bro.
if I tell you mine, this whole room is gonna be like,
okay.
damn.
You're gonna have your shot. You're
We're,
gonna
we're
have your
gonna we're gonna
shot.
we're gonna do the Showtime thing. We're gonna do the Showtime thing.
We're gonna do that. And
We're gonna do that. But I'm
what
gonna
I
let
what I
Hormiga say
yeah.
what he gotta say first.
I'm just gonna give a basic layout of what is involved with accountability because I don't think people are getting the understanding of this. All right, so I'm gonna do it in order on a blank page. So do it
This
with
phone is
me,
thick as
okay?
shit.
Here we go. The first thing we need to do is be aware of what is going on. We need to be aware. We need to know what role we played in whatever situation was caused. We need to apologize to whoever is involved, including ourselves, for being that bombo clock. You understand what I'm saying? For being that person, we need to forgive ourselves authentically. But here's the thing about accountability. How can accountability ever mean anything if there's no change in behavior that comes with it?
Mm.
It's gonna get worse before it gets better. It's gonna get much worse because here's the other components that people keep missing out. The ultimate goal of accountability is responsibility because you want to be responsible and have the discipline enough to avoid the things that put you there in the first place. So we learn from our behavior and we practice discipline to avoid the things that put us there in the first place.
Facts.
Understand that another key to accountability is being ready to face the consequences of your actions. Now, that's the part that people drown in because they want to say sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. They don't want to change their behavior. And they most certainly, out of anything else, are not ready to face the consequences. If anything, people run at that point. When the consequences are ready, you know how they said Beretta, for all you old school guys, Beretta said, don't do the time. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. So that's
So,
where responsibility comes
all right,
from.
Mama,
To,
take it easy.
to avoid the things that puts you in a position, and here's the last part, and I'm gonna give it a Fontaine real quick. The last part of this is real funny.
Oh shit.
Oh man, hold on, let me breathe for this one. Nobody likes to apologize.
Oh, that's what we're doing.
Nobody likes to be obligated to do anything. So
That's
why
what.
put yourself in the position to do the very thing that you do not like to do? If you don't like to apologize and you don't like to be obligated, then be responsible and use the discipline of your past and your experience and these conversations right here to avoid the bullshit. Take it away, Fontaine.
Yeah, most of the reason why people can't accept accountability for a lot of the things is because they know that they do not have the mental strength to be able to take that accountability. What I've noticed about people who do those things, they kind of, because once you start hitting them with things like facts and actions, like hey, your actions and your actions are steadily the same, they know that their actions are what you saying that they are. They just can't accept them yet. Because to accept them means what? You're bad, you're doing something wrong. And damn near not everybody, but people who are still stuck think that they are perfect, think that they don't do anything wrong, think that perfection is real, think that they can't say anything to bother somebody. They think that their lives are the only ones that has a bad story to it, has something wrong with it. And it's like, no, no, you could do wrong. Yeah, no, no, you weren't raised the correct way either. So yeah. And I think it that cooking up in their head brings a high level of shame.
Mhm.
And if you ever, and I say this all the time, like if you ever notice the kid in the back of the class that's always bullying everybody else, he's just filled with shame because maybe he can't be honest about the fact that he's not getting any help at home. Or maybe he doesn't understand what the teacher's talking about because maybe he needs extra help. Maybe he needs somebody that really just wants to spend one-on-one time with him so that way he can be like all the rest of the kids in the classroom raising his hand, but because he doesn't have that, he won't raise his hand. So, and then when the teacher's like, "Why you don't raise your hand?" It's like now I'm frustrated because you're telling me the truth. I never raised my hand, but I have all these underlying things that I could express, but I don't want to because then you're gonna tell me to do what? Hey, you could work harder at it. Hey, I'll help you. I'll help you do this. We could get you there. And because they have this problem with them, they don't want it. They reject it because they feel comfortable within their shame. They feel comfortable with their actions being the way that they are. Because if they change their actions, then they have to accept the fact that you've been doing shit wrong. You know what I mean? Like, man, trust and believe me, I
What's
come
good,
from a
bro?
household full of people who don't have a high level of accountability whatsoever. And when I tell you last night, my younger sister called me at 12 o'clock at night because she was at our mother's house. And when I tell you that I was listening to a conversation of no accountability whatsoever, but everybody was looking for everybody to be accountable, but everybody didn't want to be accountable. But then everybody's talking about the actions that everybody does, but then the person who did it still trying to act like they didn't do it. And then it's like, oh, but you did this to me, and then that person's acting like they didn't do it. And it's like, well, who the fuck did anything then? If everybody's sitting here talking about what they didn't do or who's right and who's wrong, then when do you get to the solution?
You know what? You know what
When
I?
do
You
you?
know what I? You know what happens in my head when that shit starts to happen? That right there.
Hmm. What?
That's all
What?
I hear in my head. That's it. That's all
What?
I hear in my fucking head.
Bro,
Is I just want to scream because like it gets to the point where it starts to become frustrating. And
yeah,
when it
and
becomes
don't be the
frustrating, there's no
person.
resolve. There's no
Yeah,
It's
and
resolve.
don't be the person that
it's
can see the
chaos.
cycle. Don't be the person that can see the cycle. It's even worse because I literally, because because of, my background and the things I've come from and I've separated myself, I'm now the outside looking in. So now I get to see the cycles and how they, like, what I'm saying? It's like you see people butting heads and it's like, but you're both wrong. How are you trying to validate your wrong versus their wrong? How are you trying to validate yours versus theirs? You're both wrong. You're
Listen,
both doing something that doesn't make any sense to what it is y'all are really saying that you want. You know
yeah.
what I mean? And that's the key thing. Like, it's so many layers of BS that people try to put over certain things, but at the end of the day, you're asking for something, you want something, you have to be accountable for the fact that you're not doing the things you need to do to gain that. Hey,
Correct.
you want something from this person, but you're not doing the necessary things to get it from them,
Let me
but
take it
you're
easy.
upset. You're
Yep.
upset, you're mad, you're angry. How?
Those,
How?
those are
If you
great
don't
words,
go
King.
cook, if you don't go cook for yourself, you're gonna be angry that your stomach's growling, or you're gonna get the fuck up and go cook something to eat.
Appreciate you, man. All
So
blessings
so
to you
so
too, bro, and growth.
so basically step up to the plate and stop pointing fingers, pour into your own shit and stop making everything else the problem. Take responsibility for what role you played in this. Thank you for that, King. Spoken truth, you want to jump in there real quick and give a little piece? We got
Yeah.
about 18 minutes, so I'm trying to be fair to everybody.
No,
Yeah, that's big.
we can
Exactly what
extend it. We can
what all
extend it.
three of you guys said
So
and expand on. Yeah. I basically ain't try to hold it. I just try to give this person an insight of their behavior, and I got hit on just because I try to shine some light on how they could critique something and just be better, but I got attacked. But in all in for myself, like Hamid just said, if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. And I lived by that since a kid because I seen too many people go in and out of jail. So I live by that. And why would I do something if I can't take the full burden of the after effects? You know, why would I basically put myself in hot water knowing that the pot is hot, you know? And it starts off with being self-aware. Once we start to be self-aware, and it's just with our own actions, our verbal actions, with everything, how we carry ourselves, our demeanor, our body aura, our energy we produce, everything's accounted for. So until we come to a greater realization of past childhood trauma that could have possibly triggered certain situations at certain times. Even with men, there's a lot of men that can't take constructive criticism from one another because, they feel like, oh, he think I'm less than him. No, I see something where you could critique and you could possibly be better than me. But since they don't want to get that insight because they feel like it's insulting, nobody want to even hold themselves accountable. Everybody want to sit there. I'm good. I don't need to heal. I don't need to sit down. You know how many people, even my blood brothers right now, that's 3 years older than me. My brother ain't sit down and heal. He got into another relationship after he left his newest child addition, mom, and situation, and went and got into another relationship. How is you holding yourself accountable if you catapult into one relationship into another? How are you examining your feelings and what you absorb if you're not taking the time out for yourself to see where you went wrong? And a lot of us got to move in that fashion. But I hold myself accountable because my mom used to tear me up as a kid. So if I don't, then I'm not living up to the person I choose to be. So I'm gonna go on mute and we could let the next guest go. I didn't want to go long with it.
Well, we got a new person in the panel that's jumping in, so he's gonna have to consolidate his.
Brother
And I'm pretty
Gator.
sure he has a lot of stuff to say because this man
No.
is a powerful man. Go for it, Gator, and welcome in.
You know, first and foremost, you know, welcome. I do want to say, because I am one of the people that have, I used to be one of those people, like, I didn't want to take accountability for anything that I have done. You know what I'm saying? Couldn't nobody tell me nothing. Couldn't nobody say anything to me, because at that point I was just a tipping time bomb. But as I started to learn and I got older, I understood the simple facts. Like, it took me going to jail. It took me almost face 60 years for something I didn't do for me to understand and gain that recovery. Recently, one of my brothers, he we fell out, but it was a simple fact that I noticed, and I started seeing the stuff. Like, his baby mama used to come to me and tell me, like, get him to just pay. He won't even get up and work. And the first thing I told him, I said, hey man, the Bible says, man, don't work, don't eat. So you're not gonna get nowhere in life if you're not gonna try to do anything. If for every reaction, it comes with a reaction. So when I told him about it, he got mad. But I'm like, it would have been hurtful. It came from somebody else. You get what I'm saying? I can't. First and foremost, it looks bad on my part because I hang around you and you're the one doing all the dirt. You know what I'm saying? And when you tell people these type of things, they get mad. But see, I had to learn for myself that, like, look, if you're taking accountability for your actions, first and foremost, like, I used to be the one, I ain't apologizing. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do that. Why? Because I feel like I was right. But at the end of the day, you'll never know what type of position you put yourself into, because the power of the tongue is real. So I had to understand it and come to an agreement to myself that if I start doing these things, all things will happen for the better good. And it's and like I be telling people, like, sometimes you have to adapt to being at fault for yourself sometimes. Because even if you're not at fault, you have to. I mean, sometimes you just gotta take that point, because you can come off as hard and harsh as you if you want to. You know what I'm saying? But it takes a real person to know when they fucking up. Definitely. And
Appreciate that.
You know what I'm saying? Even the Bible says, Proverbs 26:11, as a fool walking, as a dog going to his vomit, a fool shall go to his folly. You have to know when to stop being foolish and start being wise about certain situations that you put yourself into, and you're not taking accountability for anything that you're doing.
Ain't no welcome in.
I love that. I love how you broke that down, because the way you speak, I could tell that you've been through it. I mean, can't everybody tell that there's no fakers here, that we've all been through some hardship? Because I ain't the one to play games with the hardship shit. I tell my daughter the same thing. Mama, it's okay to go through hardships. You have to go through hardships, but do we have to go through all of them?
Right.
Mr. Amir, take it away, please. Still with us, Amir? Amir? Let me
Yeah,
give
he
him a
might be doing something.
second. If he's doing something, then we could just skip him and go straight to Beast. We'll come back to a Beast.
All right, get ready to get flooded with what I'm about to say.
Let it go, bro.
Go ahead. Take the floor.
The key word on everything before anything is excuses. Everybody has an excuse for every little thing that's going on in their life, because they don't want to change it. They don't. Because if they really did, they would just forget about all them damn excuses. I did 15 years for somebody else. 15. Not a day, not 2 days, not a month. I'm talking about calendars for somebody else. Now, I was just like my brother Power. I always wanted to put blame and all of that on somebody else, but I never took accountability for my actions and why I accepted that until I learned the hard way. And something spoke to me within myself. And to me, somebody spoke, and that was our Lord and Savior. At the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is when I came home, everybody used to sit here and say to me every day, hey, how do you feel? This person's still walking the street, man. How do you feel about it? Who cares? He taught me a valuable lessons. Even though he didn't ask for forgiveness, I still forgive him. I still forgive him because it's not his
Thank y'all for
fault.
tapping the screen.
It's not his fault that I chose to take blame and go in and just, you know, not rat him out or whatever the case. It was my fault. I chose that. I chose to go through them 15 years. I chose to live those calendars. I chose to better myself. So if you tired of being sick and tired, well then be tired of it and move on from it. Stop with the excuses, stop with the bullshit, and just get off that floor and build yourself stronger. Because if I can do it, you definitely can do it. That's all I got to say.
That's a beautiful thing. Mr. Bird, I'm glad that we are going to try to gain some closure from this, and being that you were the initial subject of this discussion. We try to show progress. We have Spoken Truth come up here. For those that are just tapping in, bringing in a testimony that
Welcome in,
sometime
Darius.
around this time last year,
What's
he
good,
has
Kev?
grown and he has demonstrated just in the way he speaks and his demeanor of what are the good things to come. Mr. Bird, take it away.
Yeah. So I didn't jump in on this topic here because here's the thing. I know that I have an issue with taking accountability for certain things. So my only thing right now is trying to learn how to fix it.
Right.
I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm the end result of it. I'm like 47% of the way through. I still got a long ass way to go.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, I try to at least try to attempt to.
I would
So I mean, I didn't jump in on it because
give
I'm
it some
not the perfect
time.
person to say anything about it. You know, I'm still working on that part.
Brother,
Give it,
you just took
give it.
accountability to you didn't
Yep.
even realize it. When you first spoke, you
I
took
didn't even have to say
accountability.
nothing.
You
I didn't even
just
have
said
to
the
say nothing.
words from
Hmm.
the beginning. So you know what you gotta do. Even though
That's the
you might
start.
feel like you didn't take accountability, you just did.
He did. He
You
He
did.
just
did.
did.
By admitting what you just did, you put yourself in the position to accept those blessings. You put yourself right in the forefront of the lineage that comes with the steps to do that. It takes a hell of a man to admit that he ain't there yet. Most of us play this facade, fake it till you make it, which is bullshit. You took the initiative to say, I'm not there yet, so I ain't got nothing to say. But that's one thing I will disagree with you. Expressing that is a big part of moving forward.
You took
That's
the
the
Just,
major.
first
You
step,
took a
bro.
major step just now. You took a
just
major step
remember
just now.
this: Rome wasn't built in one day.
Hell no.
Hmm.
And in
Elbow
Amen.
in the
Proverbs,
building. What's good, bro?
I think it was 24:16, you're gonna fall 7 times before you get up.
Amen.
Amen.
You are gonna fall 7 times before you get up. And once you
Amen.
get up, there ain't no stopping you.
I'm gonna tell you this, Bird.
Mm.
From my experience personally, you don't allow nobody to tell you how soon to heal and how fast to heal. Healing
That part.
is a journey. It takes time. Oh, you heard me. A year, 7 months, 8 months. You understand? I
It's a
created a
marathon, not a
family.
race.
I lost a lot. So give yourself grace. Remember where you came from, how much you
What
did,
time we got?
all the positivity you did, how much you still
We got
here,
7
you still
minutes. Okay.
pushing. So you just got to give yourself grace and you got to be nice to yourself. You got to be nice to yourself. Remember who you are. That's the first thing. Remember your heart. Remember how you designed yourself as a child and live that. Be that. You know, for me, it just takes time. And like I said, look at the gap. I got a 3-year-old. He's turning 3 February 13th. And I got an 8-year-old. I didn't have kids right back to back. It took me some time, you know. I had to really work, um, take myself places, and I'm a jack of all trades. Like I done did landscaping, construction, maintenance, security, everything. You understand? So invest in yourself. Pour into yourself. Be nice to yourself. That's what took me so long. I wasn't being nice to myself. I wasn't patting myself on the back. We patting yourself on the back. We patting you on the back because you did take the first step. Once you can acknowledge, I need to take accountability. I need to realize where I went wrong. You 50% of the way there. Now it's really on you to really sit down with them bad thoughts, pray up, pray to God, read that Bible or whatever you into, and just stay on this right course, because you're not on the wrong course. You're on the right course. Be real with yourself. Exactly what Thoughtzilla said. And that's one of my friends, Thoughtzilla. Be real with yourself and be nice to yourself, and you'll get there. And give
Let me
yourself
ask,
grace.
can I ask y'all a question? How many of y'all have journals?
I have like 10 full of them.
So my journal is basically on my phone. So whatever I go through in a day or whatever, I write it down. You know what I'm talking about?
I started
I am a journal. Just put it that way. I am.
Basically.
I am a journal.
I have a published book that talks about what I've been through in my life, and it's a really big book. If you're not gonna read it in a day, I'll tell you that much.
Mm-mm,
Hey,
mm-mm, mm-mm.
Hormiga, he said that, and it's like we was in another panel, me and Hormiga, and we relate in so many ways that it's unpredictable, and it's crazy because I know a lot of other people relate that way too. It's just sometimes, see, it's easy to say something, but is it easy to swallow it?
Mm-mm. It's never easy to swallow it.
And
Well,
the reason
I've always said that let people speak because you will find out so much about them without you having to ask them the questions. The problem is that when people talk shit, their tongue rolls down their mouth and all the way down to the ground, and now they have to suck their tongue back up with all the shit and dirt that's connected to it on the way back up.
You know why people ask so many questions? You know why I think people ask so many questions, like, or they repeat questions that they ask people because they're not listening. Like, if you listen, like, you have to listen in order to not have to repeat the question that's being asked multiple times. Like, if you just sit there and just listen, just like you said, listen to somebody talk. Like, somebody will tell you their whole life without you having to ask a question.
that is the God's honest truth, brother. Like,
Like,
I can't give you my journal. I could give you my testimony. I could give you parts of my, but you could be like,
it's
I've been there, did that, and da da da. It's not about that. It's the principle behind all that. We stay. Sometimes we stay stuck in our backyard and forget about what our front yard look like.
right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm,
That is a very interesting statement.
That sounds like something my
mm,
grandmama would have said for real. You right.
right, right.
That made me hungry. You just talking like that.
I just
I
walked
feel like
into the
eating some down south food right now.
I
Like I
just
need some
walked into
southern
the
love.
Hey,
kitchen. I
that's
can't even
yeah,
lie.
that's some down south saying for sure. I didn't heard
I,
it two or three
That's
times
definitely
for
down south
sure.
yeah, I
I
need
ain't never
some
heard
Right.
collard
that.
greens and some 3 times baked macaroni and cheese
Hey,
right now. Like what's
Omega,
up?
right? And here's the thing with that. I'm not from down south, so that
Yeah, but
that
you got that down south love
You
because that's how
had
they
it, yeah.
talk down there.
You
that
definitely
just
see it.
travels. That just travels around you. Because you know what? You can still, like I said, you so worried about what's going on in your backyard, and your front yard's looking like crap right now because you're not taking your time to go fix it because you're stuck still back there. That your life is just not going nowhere. So
Right.
if you go to your front yard and fix it up, trust me, you're going to see a better outcome.
So I'm gonna show you guys the page because I know you haven't seen it yet. If you haven't clicked on the link, this is what the page is starting to look like right now. I still got some more work to do on it, but I gotta add the forum and the blog so you guys can go ahead and put your testimony within the page because I want the testimonies to be real and authentic
For
that
sure, I
go on
got
the
you. I got
page.
you. I definitely got you.
Oh, yeah.
So what?
I
That's
love you
nuts.
guys. I'm about to go get me some breakfast and take my walk for the morning.
You know what I'm saying?
I'll catch up with you guys sometime during this week.
Oh yeah, most
I
definitely.
knew he was hungry. He was talking hungry words. I knew he was
Listen,
hungry.
I'm hungry too. I haven't eaten nothing all day. You know, so when I get off here, I'm definitely going to eat.
Yeah,
You
Definitely.
he's
guys have a
speaking
blessed
hungry
day, man.
words.
So the link is in my bio. If you guys want to go check the website out, are the only links that are active are the social media links right now. So if you click on the social media links, they should be active. I think the only one that's not active is the Instagram one. I will fix that later today, so that way that it links to the Instagram. But moving forward, all the lives, all the stuff that we talk about, they will be posted either on YouTube, on my Facebook group. I think Hormiga's a part of that group in there. If I'm not mistaken, I'll send it over to him. But it'll be on the Facebook group, it'll be on YouTube, it'll be on TikTok as well on the Monumental page. And I'm planning on trying to set up Apple Podcasts so that way I can post them on there. So that way you guys can like listen to it while you're at work and things of that nature. So a lot of
You
work is
just
gonna
trying
be
to be
done.
everywhere.
Yeah, I'm just trying to put it. I'm trying to put the word out, man. Like people need to hear these
Yeah.
things, man. Like
That's
TikTok is
respected
beautiful.
though.
It's beautiful, but I feel like we can reach more people if we expand. So that's the goal.
So before I go, I just want to say thank you for allowing me to be here. It's a pleasure, King. It's a pleasure meeting you. Omega, you already
Likewise.
know you. You know we brothers from another mother. but at the end of the day, you know, I don't make
Man,
broken promises because I don't make promises. But I could tell you this: I will be joining your panels.
thank you.
You know,
Likewise. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
you know, and the way my bank account set up because of my disability.
No, no way.
You gotta put some savings into your checking and your checking into your
Listen. No
savings.
worries.
I'm sorry if we can't have the one-on-ones, but you
No,
know
we could
what? We
listen.
can have the
Any
group
brother, Hormiga is
one-on-ones.
a brother of mine, man. So if you ever want to have the one-on-one, Hormiga could just put me. He could put me into the call, and then we could all just have a chat, man.
I got
Honestly,
you, my brother. But listen, I support you all the way for what
thank
you're
you.
doing. It takes a strong man to do this, or a strong human being, period. Because a lot of people, you know, they got so many testimonies, they want to be heard, but there's nobody out there to reach out.
Right.
And it's not because they don't want to reach out, it's because they're scared to reach out. So it
Mm-hmm.
takes a powerful man like you to do this, and I appreciate you, my brother. And Homega, I appreciate you.
Well, we really appreciate you, man.
Man, love
We
and
appreciate
respect.
everybody, man. That came on here.
I
We got
appreciate the opportunity of being heard. I do
listen.
appreciate that because you know being heard is needed.
Yeah, of course.
Listen,
I told.
I forgot to share with you, Teddy. I told Sweet Tea somewhere around June I'm doing a Yankee Stadium get together.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever is interested in coming, especially from this panel or any other panels, you want to come in, I'm pretty much giving the tickets away. All you got to do is show up. I'm going to buy a whole section, 420 section, of course, no pun intended. But we're going to take over the whole section. It's a whole lot of fun. If you want to come and share some experiences in person and come out of your shell, and maybe some people have social anxiety, it'll also be a safe place. Just be prepared. Your stomach's going to hurt from all the jokes and everything that happened today. I'm telling you right
Listen,
now.
I'm with it. We don't live that far. We right there,
I mean, I'm
man.
definitely there. I've been
First
talking
of
to
all,
Teddy about getting together for the longest. I got
We don't.
I definitely show up.
So I do want to talk about too, because I know I wanted to do that event down south, like right in South Carolina.
Yeah.
I need to figure out if I'm gonna do it there, or I might just do it back home here, and just have people come out
I mean,
because
if I need to, bro, you know, I swing down there. My birthday right around the corner, so I'm
where
definitely
you at?
down.
Where you at?
I'm in Texas.
you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
No,
I was trying to find a middle ground. I was trying to find a middle ground for everybody to come through, and I feel like South Carolina or North Carolina will be that middle ground for everybody that's like up north, down south, in the West Coast. It's like right there. So it's like I want to try to make it easier for everybody to be able to make it. You know what I'm saying, and not have to
For
put so
sure.
much money into a flight. But you know, people that can help you out with that, like Diamond. She is licensed to do things like that and help you with flights and stuff like that. So if you want somebody that can help you out with flights and get it for cheaper, make sure you hit up Diamond Treasure. She would definitely get you in tune with the flights. I'm gonna work on trying to get this situated because I really do want to do it. You know what I'm saying? I think it would be a nice event to have, to do like a mental health event. I think it'll be fire. So we're gonna work on
well, don't
that.
forget about us that's scared to fly.
we
Because I
also
mean,
have
all I
That's
need
why
is
I'm trying to.
gas.
That's why I'm trying to figure out like how can I make that
We
happen.
also have the other Mama G, right? That is in South Carolina, and she has some connections. So that's something that we might want to tap in with her too.
Okay, yeah, then I have her number, so that'll be great. So
And
yeah, we can make that happen.
I definitely do want to start because I've been talking to Teddy about joining, the mental health panel for the longest, and I just be so busy at work. But since I got this new job, I'll be able to, especially come through. So I definitely
Yeah,
do for sure.
it's gonna be great because we do. I am looking
Real
for
quick, man, I
adding a new
appreciate
co-host.
y'all, but I gotta go to the restroom, and I ain't moving that fast, so I gotta get
Yeah,
there before
listen,
things go
go
bad.
do what you gotta do. What you gotta do, man.
Sometimes you gotta let it go. Sometimes you gotta let it go.
Do what you gotta do. I love everybody that came through, man. In a world full of negativity, make sure y'all choose love and love on purpose, y'all. Keep life simple. Love is the glue. Respect is the flavor. You dig, you dig, you dig. Ah, this was great. This was great. This was great.
It's everything that you wanted, right, Teddy?
This was well more than what I expected it to be. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was not expecting to see Spoken to come in today. I wasn't expecting for him to come in.
The moment you say his name right now, I got this chill in my whole body because that was the bonus, the testimonial to what we're actually doing. That is crazy.
Mm-hmm. That right there was whew. That was something that I've had people come in and give their testimonies before, but his testimony was deep. Like you guys got to understand how deep his testimony was. Like it was he was really going through it a year ago, a year and some change ago. He was really going through it, and that was before we started doing it on this page. We were doing it on the other page, the Mental Health Lounge, and he came in aggressive, hot. When I'm talking about hot, he came in hot. Like, you know what I'm saying? But he was able to figure it out. And I love that for him. And I'm glad that he's in a better position than he was a year ago. Because healing is not easy, guys. It's not an easy task. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of being uncomfortable. It takes a lot of accountability. It takes understanding that you're not gonna get the answers you're looking for from the people that you need to heal from.
Facts.
You got there's a lot that goes into it. You got to be okay with understanding that you're not going to be okay.
That's right. And healing is a very small percentage. I'm not saying this to discourage anybody, but it's a very small percentage of people that fully heal. So with that being said, never use the word hard, difficult, or impossible. Why don't we change our vocabulary to use the word challenging? Because a lot of us like to challenge, right? We like challenges. So stop making it difficult with the verbiage. What you say into the universe is very important. Stop talking shit. Keep your word because the universe is actually paying attention.
And the power of the tongue is real. Definitely real.
Definitely real. King, welcome in, bro. Well, I appreciate everybody that came through.
And I'm glad to even just to be here for the little part that I had because I used to talk. I tell you like I used to it used to be times I used to just be like real pissed off, hot, angry, pissed off. Just I'll text them and be like, bro, what am I supposed to do? And I would answer my question in the middle of me talking.
I wouldn't even have to tell him shit because I'm just like he's answering his own questions. But it's like sometimes you gotta listen for someone to hear themselves. You know what I'm saying? But instead of actually giving them the tools that they need, sometimes giving them the tools is just having them hear themselves.
Well, that's the part that all the answers that we're looking for are already inside of us. We just have to find a way to make the math.
Yeah. That's it. And I'm glad that people are starting to realize it and we're opening people's eyes because that's the goal. I don't care about the numbers. The numbers on the only reason why we care about the numbers is to get more people aware of what we got going on. As far as the analytics, I don't give a damn about no analytics. That shit don't matter to me. None of that matters to me. We had only 20 people in here. The last time we was in here, we had like 40. We had like 50, 60. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but the quality is the quality, not the quantity of the live that's important to me.
Thanks.
You know what I'm saying? What's good, King? How are you, bro?
Got my baby with me. She up here being a baby.
Driving you crazy, huh?
Man, being a father, I gotta say, being a girl dad, right,
Whew.
is
Oh, have mercy.
a little bit on a more softer end. You get what I'm
That's the
saying?
goal. That's
Trust me,
okay.
I know.
And I mean, of course, you're supposed to have high morals for your daughter. You know what I'm saying? But it's a little bit more of on the emotional side. You get what I'm saying? Understanding. How can I put it? A girl who's becoming a woman. You know, you got to understand her on the emotional side. But
Where you going?
It's
yeah,
definitely a challenge, bro. Like, I gotta like my daughter. She'll be
Be careful
6.
so you don't mess up your car.
My daughter she'll be 6 in March, bro. So I definitely understand it, and it starts early. As it seems like it seems like it's hard because it starts to start early, but you have to understand. A lot women
Mm-hmm.
they progress early,
Well, we
so
can take it
you
out the box when we slide it out
definitely gonna get
first,
every
and then we'll take it
single
out the box
last.
after.
I'm telling you,
Because we still have to cut that
just
box
hang
down
in
and
there,
put it in
because
the
I
tag.
know. Trust me, you know.
man, because it's
Okay.
just like, you know,
Check the weather
I'm
first
blessed to have a daughter. I'm not saying that I don't
because
want
it's
a daughter,
supposed to.
but I did want a boy. You
No,
know,
I
as
know. That's what
his
I'm saying.
father,
Because if
I
it's
do want a
going to
boy.
start to rain later today, we're
You
not
know,
going outside
but
to put this outside
once we either
in the
get a
rain.
girl,
But we're just
you know,
not
we
doing
got to
it.
be a little bit on a more softer end. But you know, just got to have more morals,
Well,
high quality
yeah.
for
Just be
our
careful with your car so
daughters.
you don't break your windows when you're putting it in the car.
A daughter will show you how to be
Yeah.
humble and humility. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like when my mom was telling me,
Okay.
when God bless you with a daughter, that means she's telling you, hey, you need to go ahead and sit down.
You need to
You know what
chill
I'm
out.
saying?
You need to chill out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. You know,
Trust me. It's
And that's
hard, bro. It's hard, but
beautiful, 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 beautiful.
I promise you, it get easy. It'll get easy. You just have to, you know how to work it. Because when God, you're right. Because when God blesses you with a daughter, it's time for you to sit down.
yeah,
So I'm a boy
this is
dad.
my
I'm a boy.
chunky
I got
mama.
2 boys, but I got 2 goddaughters, so I already know how it is, bro.
You know, that's my chunky mama. So
Good
it's just
afternoon.
like,
What's up, sis?
you know, my
It's
daughter,
to
she's
see.
a very goofy, intelligent young girl, and you know, she brings out the more brighter side of me. You know, the
Oh,
best
boy.
in me.
Let's go to the
You know,
kitchen. I'm about to make myself some eggs or something. Stop. I'm about to make something to eat.
Yeah, bro. Trust me, I know.
I'm just thinking about them
You didn't look
blaming me because I
as soon
thought,
as you
you know what I
sighed, I
mean?
said, "Yup, let's get at him right now."
yeah, but yeah, you know, having a daughter is an amazing thing, and you know,
It really is, because now you got to use all your man skills.
yeah, and what my mom was telling me,
All right. Well, let
the
me know when you get
first
back.
man what my daughter's going to fall in love with is me. You get what I'm saying? And she's going to look and see what kind of ideal man in the future that she wants all based upon you. You know what I'm saying? So I
She's
want
gonna look.
to.
She's gonna look for her father in her mate.
Hmm.
So be
Yeah,
that
that's
guy.
facts.
You know, be that example, because otherwise they divert from you and end up with the worst. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, most definitely, and that's the last thing that I want. You know what I'm saying? I want
At
my
this
daughter
point, we just chilling.
husband who is better than me. You know what I'm saying? Who works hard, who do what he's supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? It's just so much that I am working on, you know, to become not just a better father, but a better man, a better person. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to let my daughter know, hey, it's okay to be around these group of young men. You know what I'm saying? All I can do is just teach you. But if this is who you want to be with, then you know,
Yeah, I
set
get it.
the example.
You're on the right track, King. I'm proud of you. You're on the right
Keep doing
track.
what you're doing, bro. You know what I'm saying? It takes a special kind of man to raise a daughter. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Man, cause
Quintessential
Man,
kind of
you
game.
Hear it in
feel
your
me?
voice, kid.
Bro, I heard in your voice. I know, bro. I did. Trust me.
Bless you.
Listen, man. I
Cause boy,
listen,
look, I had some man. I had to cry sometime, man. I'm gonna tell you that now. I didn't have to cry sometime, but you know what? It's all right. It's
listen,
all right.
I got worse news for y'all, man. Sadly, my daughter's mother passed away many years ago, and I've been raising my daughter by myself for
Yeah.
over a decade without a woman's input. So it was a little bit tougher for me because you're talking about an angry man that wasn't willing to take accountability and was feeling himself to the point where I had to take off the band-aids, remove all the wiring, and then rewire everything in a short amount of time. That was very difficult. So I tell guys all the time, respect these women, man. Respect these. It starts with your. How could you respect a woman if you don't respect your own daughter? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
That's true.
that's one thing. And even if the woman is, you know what I'm saying, hollering, yelling at you, even whatever is the case, you know what I'm saying. I'm learning as a young man, you still gotta respect her either way. You know what I'm saying?
No, you do. You're absolutely
You
right.
know, that's what your daughter is going to pick up on. You feel me? So it's just something that you're going to have to keep on moving forward and basically being the better person, the bigger man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And one thing you have to understand, you like Pac said, bro. Pac was for real about that. You get your game from a woman, and a lot of people don't know that. So every tool that you have to be able to raise that daughter the same exact way. See, I modify myself on certain things that I say towards my daughter because I want her to understand on her own. Because she gonna have to at any given point she has to go out there to the world for herself. I'm not gonna be able to be a woman for her. She has to do it for herself.
Can't protect her from everything.
You can't protect her from everything. Now I can say if somebody did some crazy stuff, now
You feel me?
You know,
Hey,
you
we're
know what
not
I'm
gonna
listen
talk
saying?
to my
about it. We're not gonna talk
daughter.
about it on this app. Mm-mm.
I'm
We're
just,
not gonna talk
I'm
about
just
it on
saying.
this app.
But
Look,
you
I'm just
know,
saying that look, when your son comes to you as a man and he says, "Dad, I just had a problem," the first thing a man asks him is, "Well, how did you handle it? Like what you do about it?" Now, if your daughter comes to you and you go, "Dad, this guy is giving me a problem," that's a whole different. It hits different. Doesn't it?
Yeah, most.
It does hit different though. I'm not gonna hold you
yeah,
because
You
that's
want
what
to
I
say?
mean. Like
You
I'm
want to
not
because
say?
when
saying
my
like
goddaughter
anything crazy. I'm saying
when my
like if
goddaughter had hit me up one day, like 'cause she's going to college now. It was like I want to say her sophomore year of high
right,
school. She had hit me up. She was like, "Yo," she's like, this dude keeps bothering me at the school." Now, mind you, her dad's not in her life, so it's like she can't really call her dad to be like, "Yo, come to the school. This dude's bothering me." So I pulled myself out of work and I went to the school. But he didn't know who I was because he ain't never seen me before. So she just pointed him out, and I grabbed him by his neck, and I was like, "Yo, let me talk to you." Yo, I think I put too much fear in that boy's heart, but you know what? It was worth it. It was fucking worth it.
Cause
that's what I mean by anything crazy like that, bro. At the end of the day, you have to look at it from a certain standpoint. You're not gonna be able to get. It's because you got your hand like this, so I couldn't get to it.
yeah, cause I mean, the way I look at it as okay for a son, right? He is supposed to become a better man than you, or to be, you know, the ideal man who you hoping for him to be. You know, he's going
Right.
to be the next soldier into the war. Now, for a daughter, you look at her like, damn, you know, she's my precious. You know what I'm saying? That's my princess. I hope and
I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I'm kind of glad I didn't have a daughter because my daughter would have been a warrior. I ain't gonna hold you. My daughter would have been a warrior, hands down. Edmund, welcome in. She would have been a warrior, hands down. Cause ain't no way. You know what I'm saying? I would have taught her how to be sentimental and be soft. You know what I'm saying, and have that feminine energy towards the person that she's with. But on an everyday basis, she's gonna be a warrior. Ain't no way. She would have been a warrior, hands down. So I'm kind of glad I didn't have a daughter because she would have been whooping ass. all over this place. Should have been whooping ass all over this place. Trying to tell you. I'm kind of glad that they, you know what I'm saying? Should have been kicking ass and taking names. Then you said, what the name? What time is it? What do we got here? We've been on 3 hours and 30 minutes. Let's go. Yeah, I'm about to hop off of here, though, because I've been on here for way too long. And I got some work I got to get done. I got to go download this live, then I got to go strip this live and make it into sections and start posting these videos. So I love y'all. In a world full of negativity, make sure y'all choose love and love on purpose. Keep life simple. Love is the glue.
Yeah,
Respect
baby.
is the flavor. You did.
You did.
You did.
I-
I'm out of here, y'all. I love y'all.